right. I wear a hat. Zach wears a hat. And Casey wears a hat.
This
For
and
this
more
Christmas episode
of the
of the
JoJo,
Locacacast.
the
Of the
Locacacast.
Locacacast, we all wear hats.
I wear many hats, but just one right now. The Santa hat. Alright, so another fucking chapter of the JOJOLands has come out. How was everybody's months? Cool. Good.
Months were good, months were had. Christmas is being had right now.
Christmas
Christmas
rapidly
was
approaches.
almost-
Christmas was almost ruined, except for the fact that Zach realized that we hadn't actually recorded any audio for 13 minutes.
So
Oops.
luckily, we didn't miss that much. We just did a little recap. We're getting ready for the holidays. We are feeling holly, and dare I say jolly.
Jolly as well, I would say.
Oh yeah, very jolly.
Yeah, we're all having good times, and Christmas rapidly approaches, and I have been bringing the Nintendo Wii everywhere with me, and showing people the joys of Wii bowling.
Spreading the good word, as you should.
Exactly. I'm like a Wii homebrew evangelist. I'm like, dude, that thing that's sitting in your closet, take it out. It's actually
Yeah.
still cool. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You can just homebrew that shit, and then you never have to buy any more games for it. You can just play everything ever. It's so dope.
Yeah. You can do that to, like, pretty much any console. People
I
don't
know.
that. It's great.
The Wii is great, though, because it had the virtual console. So the Wii already
Yeah.
has built into it, like, an emulator for every system that ever happened before the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a GameCube. So that's sick.
Yeah, it's no wonder people liked the Wii a lot.
Oh, yeah. It was
I
solid.
didn't like the Wii U nearly as much.
It was actually the first time, I believe, Nintendo had ever done backwards compatibility. Compatibility.
Compatibility.
Compatibility. They did it again for the Wii U, and then that's it. They've never had another time where you can play your old Nintendo games on the new console. Great. It's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, anyway. Wii bowling, Christmas, holly and jolly. Let's get into this
Holly
fucking
jolly.
chapter, shall we?
JoJoLands Chapter 7.
Now 'tis the season for talking about JoJo.
Man, this
Woohoo!
is the shortest catching up with the Locacacasters there's ever
Well,
been. This is 2 minutes.
It wouldn't have been if
I know!
we remembered to check our shit before, but we're hacks,
Oops.
so now it
We are
is.
a little bit hacky, a little bit fraudulent.
Well, I always used to say to Chris that this is the most ramshackle production you could ever possibly have. Like, we're the rammest and the shackliest. We are just
but
thrown
we're held
together out of spare
by,
parts.
By duct
like I
tape
said-
and equivalent exchange.
Like I said, it could be worse.
Could be
Christmas
worse.
would have been utterly ruined if we had gone through the entire podcast and then Zach had noticed we weren't
Yeah.
recording audio.
Yeah.
I think we would have just taken the month off. I don't
Yeah.
think any of us
Yeah, we
wanted to go back for that.
Absolutely. I don't think we would have gone back for it, but that would suck because this is a really good chapter.
This is a really good chapter.
Dude.
I like this chapter a lot.
I was just saying to you guys in the previous part that got deleted, I don't, my every waking moment is not dominated by theorizing about JoJo like it used to be in the JoJolian days. So, you know, like, I'm not, it used to be that, like, the 16th, the 15th would roll around and I'd be like, oh, here it comes, new JoJo
Oh, yeah.
chapter. And I'd be refreshing people's Twitters who I know are working on it and to find out that it comes out. But now it's like, I didn't even read this chapter until like 10 minutes before we started. I didn't.
Yeah, they've been sneaking up on me now. I used to be like way like on it,
Oh,
on
yeah.
the ball, like you're saying. But now it's just like, oh shit. Between this one and the last chapter, they both really snuck up on me, and I was like, oh. So now it's just like a fun little treat to
Right.
look forward to every month, at least until we get into the real. Because this is only chapter 10 of like
Yeah.
what 100, and that's gonna be, you know, the next 8 to 10 years from
Yeah.
now. So we're not in the meat and potatoes of it yet, but admittedly, things are. There's a lot of action already, and a lot of we'll get into it obviously during the chapter, but a lot of things that I wasn't expecting to see happen this early on to our JoJo crew.
Yeah.
Just before we get into it,
Go ahead.
I have to give a shout out to the description I wrote for last month's episode, which is basically a play on the opening lines of Styx's Grand Illusion,
Oh boy.
which when we were trying to predict the enemy stand user's stand name
Right.
last episode, you came up with Poker Face, and like
Yes.
I was just like blown away with like, no, that's probably it. But then as I was writing the description, I realized, wait a minute, Grand Illusion would be an amazing name for this stand.
Yeah, it fucking would be.
And then I read this chapter and see all of the things that the stand is doing, and I'm like, yeah, this would be an amazing name for
That
this
would
stand.
be an amazing stand name. I'm still in the camp of Invisible Touch.
I don't think it's a stand. I don't think it will be named.
Do you think I was going to ask this?
We got to talk about this, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask this last chapter, but we can ask it here now. Do you think that this is a new inherent rock human ability, or like a rock human ability, or is it a stand?
Oh, I thought you were
know,
just going to
because-
ask me, do you even think it's a rock human? Which, yes, but
because
also I think
because
it's
the
Dr.
last
Wu.
time- because
You think it's
because
just Dr. Wu straight up?
No, not literally Dr. Wu, but I think the thing is that this guy is a rock human, but he just has the ability to do weird things that all the other rock humans can't. Similar to Dr. Wu. Like, that was, I
I'm
guess,
hesitant
his
to believe
stand
that-
ability, Dr. Wu's.
Yeah.
But
I'm hesitant to believe that that this isn't a stand, because like the last time we've seen anything like this was Dr. Wu, which would have been a much better opportunity for that to just be a technique.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
It
just,
is-
it's the thing is that Paco keeps saying throughout the chapter, he's like,
It has
it's a
a
stand,
stand,
right?
like,
But,
yeah.
so he seems unsure.
He does seem unsure, and he keeps reiterating that it seems like a stand, and that it has a sand-like texture. That
Yeah.
it drops.
I
like
think the
stand
seeds
for
are being
that.
planted right now for this to be revealed to be our first rock human.
It would be
While
interesting
we're on
if
the-
this
while
was
we're
like
on
a
the,
subspecies of rock human, and like since it's Hawaii and more tropical and volcanic, that
Mhm.
maybe is a unique adaptation that they'll have to deal with.
Hang on a
Maybe.
second.
Ooh.
Or, I mean, don't hang on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm doing some independent research.
Well,
I see.
while we're on the topic of stand names, Casey, between last episode and this episode, or actually it was prior to the recording of last episode, but we didn't actually get to talk about the. No, wait, it was between last episode and this episode. My bad. My sense of time is completely out of whack. But you posted the details from the table of contents for the JOJOLands Volume 2. And
Yes.
that reveals the name of the cat stand,
Yes.
which
And-
we had speculated on for a while.
Yes, and it turns out that it is called cat size. So we have and you pointed out another Susie Q reference there.
Do you guys think that that's supposed to be the word capsize? Like when a boat turns over?
Cat Size is a song by Suzi Quatro. Is that
Do you
Yeah.
think Susie Quattro knew that it was a play on the word capsize?
Be.
I don't know.
Or like cat's eyes.
Mmm.
Yeah, if anything, it's probably that. Cat's eyes.
Maybe
And
so.
that the group of cats is just called Wild Cat Size.
Huh.
We also got the first Shueisha
like it's
coloring of
it's a
characters.
Pokemon.
Yeah, a little
Wild
bit.
Cat Size approaches.
A wild cat size approaches, and they stand cat size. We also got the official colors, or not official, but the Shueisha colorings of the characters in those volumes, and it surprised me, but at the same time didn't surprise me that Usagi's color scheme is just Tingle from The Legend of Zelda.
Do you have a picture? Do you have a picture of that we can put up?
Let me find them. Excuse me.
Hey, do you guys ever think about, like, so this is chapter 10 in JoJoLands, right? You want to know where we were in Chapter 10 of JoJolian?
Was he going into the hat shop?
No, that was much sooner. Chapter 10, we are in California King Bed. We are fighting Daya.
Really?
Yeah, that's Chapter 10.
For some reason, I don't remember any actual stand fights happening that soon.
Because in the very first chapter, he fights and beats Joshu he takes his sight. And then after that, they go to the hat shop, and then they go to Yoshikage Kira's apartment, and then they fight Ojiro Sasame. Then after that, he is like taken to the Higashikata house, and his first thing that he does there is fight against Daya's ability. So that's 3 fights in the first 10 chapters.
Well,
for us,
sorry. Well, it's the issue here is that like you would think, you probably want to put that as vx.twitter or vxtwitter.com so that
because it won't embed.
Yeah.
Anyway, the tendency is because we associate JoJolian now with our most recent memories of it, which is towards the end of JoJolian when the pacing sucked.
Yeah.
So now we're caught off guard by the fact that the pacing of JoJolian used to be good.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
No kidding.
So I just wanted to make that comparison because I feel like we've accomplished a lot more just in the first couple chapters of the JoJoLands than we did in the same amount of chapters in JoJolian. In JoJolian, we had the opening fight, went to the hat shop, went to the apartment, fought Ojiro, went to the Higashikatas, fought Daya. In this, we fucking fought the police again, fought Kishibe Rohan, fought some cats again, fought a crazy shapeshifter ass dude in a food court. I'm just saying, this is action-packed.
And we outwitted the watch owners.
Yes, God, that too. That wasn't even a battle, but it was a battle.
There was an entire mini comic relief arc in the middle of the action-packed stand fight arc.
I just wanted to bring that up to be like, this shit is action-packed. We are rocking and rolling. Like, this is paced really, really well.
And I was going to say, I don't think that this is even Araki trying to rush through the JoJoLands out of obligation. This just seems like what the JoJoLands is. It is a heist. There are stakes. It is action-packed. People are getting, fucked up already, which is crazy.
God, this chapter was so good. We got to get into it.
I don't think we have to get into it, because I'm so hung up on the fact that it's only chapter 10, but I don't think I've ever seen in JoJo, even by JoJo standards, things go from 0 to 100 nearly this fast.
Oh yeah, no, there's a specific moment later that we have to talk about because it really caught me off guard the way that the moment is presented this early in the story.
Yeah,
also
which makes me think a lot of things about the future of the JoJoLands.
I think that maybe the only contender for 0 to 100 real quick is probably part 2. The way that we just see Joseph trying to buy a Coca-Cola, and then he blows off a cop's finger, and then within an episode he is fighting Strizo and hitting him with a Tommy gun and grenades and shit. That opens and gets insane right away.
Mm-hmm.
Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, they all have a little bit of a slower start.
You ease into it a bit.
Yeah.
Even with the weird shenanigans of Giorno and him making up whatever he wants Golden Experience.
I thought you were going to say the weirdness of Giorno putting his whole ear inside of his head.
And then never doing it again.
Never again. Honestly. He should have defeated Diavolo with that. He should have been watch this. That
should have come into play, yeah. That should have been the
strongest abilities that were never used again.
Yo. Imagine a stand that has it attacks you through sound waves, it sounds horrible and it completely immobilizes you, so Giorno just tucks both his ears inside his head.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. JoJo Battle Royale, but the characters can only use the abilities that they only used once in the story.
Oh, dude, that'd be great.
Jotaro is running around just using Star Finger on everyone.
No, he's running around. No. He's running around sucking everything in like he did the Judgment.
Wham is just sitting in the middle, and like just trying to like maneuver people into his shadow.
Yeah.
Bro,
That's a good
Whamu
one.
and Daya Higashikata are like in a dance, circling each other, trying to get the other one to step on their shadow.
Yeah.
They're just doing a
But
little
what they-
cavity.
What's up?
They're just doing a little cavity. You know,
Oh yeah.
the sport.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like God, what is it like? Is it like rugby, sort of?
I don't know. I got no
all,
fucking clue.
all I know is like two guys face off and they say cavity, 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 and like they just sort of jockey for position.
Huh. Strange.
That
you-
sounds like something niche
It's
enough that would get mentioned in JoJo at some point.
Yeah.
It's in a lot. It's in like I think it was like in Nichijou or something
Oh.
that it appeared in. It's like a gag anime thing, I think.
Interesting.
Okay.
Man, no other anime has ever made me cry simply because it was over. Except the last episode of Nichijou. You know what I mean? Like the episode itself is like it's a sweet send off, you know what I mean? It's like it's clear this is the last episode. But there's nothing that sad about it. I was just like I was moved to tears just by the knowledge that this is all there will ever be. I will never get any more Nichijou. This is the last new Nichijou I can ever watch.
I still need to watch Nichijou, to be honest. I've heard it's a show that I'd really vibe with.
It's really, really good. I can't even explain why it's good to you. It's just fucking fantastic. And it made me cry just from the virtue of the fact that it was over. Like, nothing that sad even happened. I was just like, this is saying goodbye to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So cavity is actually it originated in ancient India.
Whoa.
It's a contact team sport between two teams of 7 players. Yeah, it's like ancient Indian rugby, basically.
Weird and cool. That does seem
Very
like something that would get brought up in JoJo for no reason.
That is 100% a niche, like JoJo factoid that a character would go on a monologue about.
Right? Like, our characters would be in an unfamiliar location, and they would look over, and there would be just Araki has drawn some people going, cavity, 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 cavity.
Yeah.
And our characters are like, what the hell is that? And then someone's like, oh, that's an old game that they've been playing for thousands of years.
You'd be like, oh, cool.
All right, before we get into the chapter proper, Zach, did you show the people these pictures that?
Yes, yes, I did.
Okay.
I just wanted them to see the one specifically where, I just wanted to see them to see the one specifically wherein he is Tingle. But I'll blow it back up and put it back on the screen again real quick because
I do quite enjoy the Tingle fit on Usagi there, and having the Mate Kudasai also be a little green gremlin.
Also make sure to show them that November rain pic because that is sick.
All right, hell
It's
yeah.
really sick. And
just one
honestly,
sec here.
that one was surprising to me too, only because in my mind's eye, I'm still equating November Rain with looking like Hierophant Green.
Huh.
So I'm like, why isn't it green? And then I'm like, oh, well, no, it wouldn't be, would it?
It does look a little like Hierophant blue.
The face a lot, yeah. It gives Hierophant blue mixed with like fun.
I'm showing everybody these sick pictures. Oh man, this one's taking me to fucking Twitter.
Oh.
I love that the website, the address in the fucking address bar still says Twitter.
Well, of course. You gotta let them know.
Oh god damn it, this is taking so long to load. Why is my internet so shit?
Also, Rohan not even having an alternate color palette. He's still wearing his iconic green headband, green hair.
Hell yeah.
He's even got like green little Gone Hunter x Hunter shorts.
That is perhaps one of the
looks-
few moments when Araki has
his headband
decided on
looks
a
more
color
blue
for something
here, actually.
consistently. Rohan's hair is green.
Is green, and his headband is green.
Oh, this is sick. I love that they did the slight glow effect on the stands that they always do in the colored manga. That shit looks
That is
great.
very nice. What I also really enjoy, and I think I only fully noticed while looking at the details of the colored scans, every character has a matching symbol on their stand. So like Jodio's little chest piece.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, the two little arrows are
Yeah.
on the base of November Rain. Dragona's D.
Yeah, that's on the smooth operators.
Pendant. It's on the smooth operator's head. I mean, Paco's is just on his body, but it's the hustle is represented by
Man,
the JoJo.
Paco is so fucking sick.
Paco is. This chapter gave me like everything that I needed to see from Paco to know like just how cool his fights are going to be, and already are.
God, like he was maybe like my least favorite character of the four leading into this. Like I thought he was cool, but like Dragona is awesomer, Jodio is sicker, Usagi is fun and we love him.
Oh, fun.
So
I also really like that this chapter has kind of emphasized, because we have two named JoJos, or the JoJo siblings, right?
Uh-huh.
I like that this chapter kind of gives us, almost to me, hard confirmation that Usagi is Dragona's Jobro, and Paco is Jodio's Jobro.
That's so cool.
We're still operating.
So in a way, we're actually we are getting the the twin JoJos that people theorized.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And if we are operating under the assumption that this is the crew, it's just these four, no one else, that makes a lot of sense to me, especially knowing that for, again, Usagi specifically, his stand requires him to play the role of number two to someone.
Right, he has to be in the supporting role. He can't even use it himself.
He cannot, unless that's something he can work around later. Like maybe he can record other people asking for various things on his phone and then play that back to the Mate Kudasai. I don't know. That's just hard speculation. I don't know if it has to be
That would be really fucking cool though. Like imagine the whole story where like he can't use his own stand and then he just plays a recording off his phone. Like that would be sick.
That would be really cool.
Also think about it, we're in 2022/3 in this story. You know, people have the ability to have voice memos on their phones. Like, that could be a fun, we're in modern times, so Araki can do this type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. I think that'd be pretty neat. I am very excited based on this chapter already.
Right.
Just to see the progression of what these abilities are going to do, where they're going to... Like, because we haven't even gotten into the chapter yet, but I keep thinking, like, if this is chapter 10...
Right?
How unrecognizable is it? Are we going to space? Are we going to go to space?
Oh my god.
Is this finally the time when he does it? Like what is the end point?
Casey, we went to space in part 6.
Well, we did kind of go to space in part 6 and a little bit in part 2. But like, or do we just go to is this the JoJoLands? Do we go into the multiverse? Like, is that where we explain where Rohan came from with the green hair?
Man, I don't think that needs explaining. I think Rohan is Rohan in every universe, and we should just gloss over that.
I like the idea that he's just himself. That
Rohan is just Rohan.
Constant. Yeah.
He's a constant.
Man,
Rohan requires no explanation.
Yeah. No, I'm just hyped. I'm getting the early JoJo. I have no idea where this is going. Hype. And it's in real time. There is no reading ahead, there are no spoilers. We just have to like ride it out for the next however many years.
Yeah, that's what I liked about JoJolian when I was reading it live, was because like truly nobody knows what's going to happen next. There are no spoilers, there is only speculation, and that was fun because every previous JoJo part I had read or watched once it was already finished, and so that was like a huge source of enjoyment for me. And now we're getting it again. But, you know, it'll be more and more fun as we get deeper and deeper into the part, and there become more things to speculate on. At the moment, it's pretty straightforward. There are mysteries, but it's pretty straightforward.
I just found this as well. I'll drop it in chat. The official relationship chart of the
wow!
Currently, yeah. So we have the two brothers, Jodio and Dragona, a thieving bastard, Paco, who doesn't talk to Usagi.
They're not
Usagi
friends.
Like, I'll call you Pink.
Unfortunately, this isn't exactly a complete relationship chart because we don't see the relationship between Paco and Dragona or between Jodio and Usagi.
Right.
Jodio and Usagi, it should say, sold drugs to.
Yeah, a little bit. Sold crack too.
Yeah. I wonder what drugs he was selling. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It looked like, I mean... it was just a bag
Methamphetamine.
of-
I believe in
like
the
a bag of
first
powder.
chapter, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the first chapter when Usagi is trying to buy drugs from Jodio on the bus. How's it hanging, Jodio? You sure seem cheery this fine morning. Did you bring the stuff? Hey, I'm counting on you here. He gives him the money. Are you trying to mess with me, asshole? Right.
Well, we've
Don't
seen
show
the
cash
drugs.
inside the
They're
bus
like,
again.
They're like bags of white powder, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly thought that Usagi had a line where he was like, I got that test coming up. Do you have the stuff? So I thought it was maybe like, I don't know, Adderall, something focusy. But I don't know.
Hey, you can focus on other substances, so I've
Yeah.
been told.
Sure. I don't know. I thought that there was maybe a hint somewhere, but it doesn't seem like
I
it.
used to know a guy in college. This is a
Well,
real story.
Considering Araki's recent watch history, I think
Well,
we know
yeah.
what the drug is.
Exactly, and
I
considering
guess so.
considering I live in Florida, I know what it takes for the average Floridian to focus at the college level.
Jesus.
Well,
Man.
you know,
He's selling him a bit of that crystal blue persuasion.
no, I swear to God, my first college roommate in freshman year of college, he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, so you know, I know we barely know each other, and I hate to ask this, but do you know where I can get some crack?" And I was like, "No, I can't say that I do, but I'm glad you thought I was trustworthy enough to ask." Like, you know, it just helps me focus, get into the zone. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I bet it does.
Quite a Florida story, I will say.
Quite a Florida story.
That is peak Florida right there.
Aha!
That is-
I was fucking right. It was not
Oh.
Usagi. It was the lady cop who says, you have to ask me, I'm a police officer, and if I say no, that means it's true. The lady cop says, I've got a big test this weekend. And I heard, well, do you have that stuff? Mind sharing some of it with me? So, still, you can focus off of any sort of drugs, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did remember correctly that there was something said about a test.
As long as they're uppers, not downers.
Yeah, well, hey, you gotta pick the right drugs for the job. It's important.
You gotta be wise about how you spend your drug dollar.
You gotta stretch that dollar as far as it can go.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes when I'm running out of weed, I will pack the tiniest bowl that you possibly could ever do in the universe, and then I'll hit it, and then I'm like, okay, all right, now that's mine for the day. That's done. 2 molecules of weed lit on fire, and we're good.
Thank goodness I got that into my system.
I totally needed that. I don't know, man. It's psychosomatic at a certain point. You don't need shit. You're just
Right.
on a habit.
Oh, of course.
Anyways,
Oh, man.
enough drug talk. Let's get into the
Enough drug
fucking
talk. Let's
chapter.
get into the JOJOLands where they sell drugs.
They do that. They for sure do that in this. That's like one of the things they do.
But Jodio Joestar, I sell drugs to the local community.
I was watching that. I love Black Dynamite. Great movie.
Oh, I love Black Dynamite.
I
Phenomenal.
saw a clip of it on Twitter where someone was like, people always leave out the best part of this clip, where right after that guy says it, Black Dynamite says, be that as it may. I'm declaring war on anyone who sells drugs in our community. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Be that as it may. He's so eloquent.
I love the way Black Dynamite speaks.
He's incredible.
He's a great character.
When that girl steps on his line, she finishes the Black Dynamite's gonna make everything alright line, and he freaks out. Euphoria, shut the fuck up! I don't know that shit was you, I don't even have to look!
I don't even have to...
All right. We're spending all our time referencing a movie Chris hasn't seen. Let's get into the fucking JoJo.
Spending all our time talking about Black Dynamite when we should be talking about. I don't know. I thought I had a segue there, but I didn't.
I was walking around at work the other day, and we walked into the kitchen. And you know how those kitchens have those, like, swing doors, like a saloon? Like, you don't gotta turn a handle or anything. You just kind of walk straight into them, and they open. I put out my foot sideways in between the middle of the two doors, and I sort of gently kicked it so that they both flew open, and I just walked through. And my friend Dylan behind me goes, "Dynamite!"
Dynamite!
That shit was great. Like, it was well timed. I didn't even know Dylan was there. It was fantastic.
You had your own accompaniment.
Oh, yeah. I got my own accoutrement.
Accoutrement.
All right, the chapter. What do we think about the colors?
When last we left off, Paco Loveland-Sus had just stabbed Jodio in the face, and he was dying.
How do we feel about the colors on the title page?
Oh, okay.
The Ultra Jump cover, I mean.
I enjoy the Ultra Jump cover a lot.
I just want to address it before we go past it.
Yeah, I like the orange on Jodio. I think it looks neat.
Did you guys see?
Also, just confirming that his pose is sticking his hands in the air like he is being arrested.
I thought you were gonna say like he just doesn't care.
Like he just doesn't care. Well, he doesn't. So that is true.
His pose.
He doesn't care that he's being arrested.
He's being arrested. True.
His pose.
And the lava rock is green in this, which is interesting.
His pose to me reads as though he and Dragona are posing for a photo, and then Dragona takes out the lava rock to hold up in the photo, and he's like, "Hey, put that away." Like he goes and grabs her hand and is like, "Don't have that in the photo, please."
Don't show them that.
Anyway, did anybody see Aeon Star's Twitter thread about how the Shueisha coloring is sometimes leaving much to be desired? Did anybody see that?
I did see that, and
well, Zach, I don't use Twitter anymore.
I'm sorry, bro. I'll try and get Aeon Star to join Blue Sky for you.
I thought you were gonna say I'll try to get Aeon Star to join the Locacacast.
I don't want him on. I don't. I don't like him. In the finale to our first,
let's invite him on just to like boo him until he leaves.
Oh my god, we can't do that. That's
I know mean. It's too mean. It's too mean. But like
that's too mean.
On the season finale to the first. On the season finale to the first episode, the first season of the Locacacast, the JOJOLands season, we did our final episode. I don't even know if you know about this. Me and Chris met up in person for the final episode and actually recorded it on my camera, and I was dressed as Josuke from Part 8. I had the sailor outfit. Anyway, it was very cool, and I edited that one. It's one of the only episodes of the podcast that I've edited, because as Chris can tell you, I am a fucking slow bastard. I will put that shit off forever. It's not good when I edit the podcast. It takes too long. But I edited that one myself, and I put a little credit sequence in it. And the credit sequence was just like thanking everybody who had anything to do with the podcast. I think I thanked my mom. I think I thanked my editing program and Chris's editing program. And I gave them names like the workhorse, the pinch hitter. And so I thanked Aeon Star and Hamon Beat as well. And I put Aeon Star, shit JoJo tuber. Hamon Beat, great JoJo tuber.
Oh my god.
It was real shade thrown in that credit sequence, but also they're never gonna see it.
No, probably not.
Of course not. But no, do you remember when we watched he fucked the horse, ladies and gentlemen?
I sure do.
That's the best Aeon Star content that there has ever been.
It's the most hilarious feud in the history of podcasts because we're feuding with this guy and he doesn't even know who we are.
Yeah, exactly. It's a completely one-sided rivalry.
I know. It's incredible. Like, I'm antagonizing him, but he doesn't even know we're rivals. He doesn't know who I am.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. He's the most dangerous JoJo tuber in the world. All right. Anyway, I don't actually hate him. I don't know. I've developed a kind of like tsundere relationship.
I was gonna say, like, you've played up the bit so much it's become real.
Right. No, exactly.
At this point, we're basically just doing it for the meme.
Yeah, it's a running gag that the show has that we just gotta continue.
Just like Yatsuya.
And I liked a lot of his content. I still do, you know? I mean, I don't really watch him anymore because he doesn't do scripted videos anymore. He doesn't, like, write a video and then record himself reading the script. He just kind of does live stream reactions to the chapters, which is fine. I understand that takes so much less effort. But when he said that there was going to be a big JOJOLian retrospective video, and then what he posted was just like 2 hours of stream ramblings of him talking about Goodbye JOJOLian. And then everyone was like, hey, what happened to the retrospective video? And he was like, that is it. And they were like, no, we want like the old videos. And he's like, I'm sorry. So I fucking have beef with him for that. Like, you're a coward. Go make the JOJOLian retrospective.
Yeah, go make it.
And you know what? I'm not even saying that because, like, I'm saying it because maybe he's the only one who can, you know? Mm-hmm. He needs to do it. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't care. I hope he's having a good time. I hope he's having a good life. I hope he's not too stressed out about YouTube and Twitter and his fucking little internet celebrity that he has. I hope he's, like, eating a delicious sandwich right now and having a normal, good life.
I hope he's not waking up in a cold sweat every night thinking, oh god, does Zach CG from the Locacacast like me?
Every time I shit on him in this podcast, he just, Achoo! And he doesn't understand why.
Yeah. He pauses and he feels the disturbance in the force. As if one voice cried out at once and then went silent.
As if one voice cried out, very loud, talking shit. Anyway,
oh, boy.
His thread on Twitter about the colors.
The colors.
He was talking about this one. Should I pull up the? No, that's gonna take too long. It was a thing. It's Mamazuku. It's Mamazuku and Shut up, man. It's Mamazuku and Josuke, and they are like one of the chapter pages. Like they're standing on top of a tree. Like Mamazuku's sitting on it and Josuke's standing on it, and
they
it's
are
like
effectively
the
like Trixie.
The colors are just kind of all clashing. Like it doesn't look quite right. But in his thread, he's like, the Shueisha colorings are sometimes good. They're sometimes kind of shit. But here's the problem, is that there are, like, synergistic elements in this coloring composition, but they are not emphasized properly. Like, there keeps being extra shit in there, which seems to not go with the rest. You know what I mean? He was making a point that, like, there's the green of the trim on Josuke and Mamazuku's outfits, and that's good, but it doesn't at all go with, like, the yellowness of the sky or the blueness of the grass or the weird purplity of the tree. So he just changed the colors of their outfits, but left everything else exactly the same. And I was like, oh, that looks like a Rocky coloring now. And so I think it's a matter of, like, do the colors synergize in that strange way that's just immediately a Rocky on the face of it. And this, I feel like we've got the synergy. Like, Jodio's orange, Dragona is green and purple and blue, but Jodio's also got purple and blue and green on him. Dragona has almost no orange except for the lips, but then, like, the background, the streaks of diagonal color, it's everything that's in the composition. So it feels natural. It feels right. The colors are crazy. Green and orange, but it feels right. And it's something that only Araki can do. Or at least I thought that until I saw him talking about the colors on that Twitter post, and I was like, oh, you've unlocked it. You've unlocked the key to the lock. That doesn't make any sense. But I was, like, impressed. I was like, oh, your reasoning is sound, and now it does feel like Araki art to me.
Right.
So I guess shout out to Aeon Star.
Shout out to Aeon Star. Biggest
Shout
supporter
out.
of the world. Yes,
Shout out to Aeon Star.
You know him,
Also,
you
fuck
love
that
him.
guy.
We know him, we love him.
You know him, you love
we
him.
know him.
We don't. Aeon Star!
Well, we know him.
We don't.
We
We
know
don't know him. We don't know him.
We know of him.
Okay.
We know of
We
him.
don't know him. So we basically have no relationship with him at all.
Absolutely
We
not.
basically are complete strangers.
Oh, he blocked me on Twitter one time.
Okay.
And then eventually, like a little bitch with my tail between my legs, I went onto my alt account and DM'd him, and I was like, "Hey, could you unblock me, please? I would like to read your posts, but I would not like to have to go to my alt account to do them."
Oh. See, you're basically friends.
Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, sure, fine." Anyway, man. Fucking... Oh, I just noticed Dragona's holding the diamond, too. She's holding the diamond in one hand and Lava Rock in the other.
Yeah. Oh, sure enough.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the diamond.
Anyway, that's 40 minutes of just sitting on the opening page talking about random bullshit. Let's get on to fucking page 1, am I right?
We have a whole chapter ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
I feel like the content that we've recorded so far is vastly superior to those 12 or 13 minutes that we lost.
Oh, leagues better. We already warmed up.
Right,
See, that
right.
was the warm-up recording.
We had a warm-up.
Well, it had fucking better be better because we recorded 40 minutes of it this time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hey.
I mean, what if we were just like, nah, this isn't good. Let's start over.
Let's start over one more time. This will be the one.
Once more, with feeling.
Feeling.
Okay, here we go. First page. Dark clouds hang over Hawaii. And then the musical. The JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood. The musical.
Phantom Blood will be performed at the Imperial Theater on February 6th, 2024.
Can you believe it? The musical.
I cannot. JoJo the Musical.
Dio is going to be even gayer.
Oh my god, he really is.
He's going to reach levels of gay previously thought impossible.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Skibbity-beebadabadoo-badabadoo-baddy-bow, yeah, next page. And then we're right back into it.
Right back into it. Jodio's getting a little splash across the neck. Not a great time.
This shit is crazy. This is a great first page. Look at the...
I know. I already talked about it on my own Twitter, at Caseyaces on Twitter, but but
the plug.
I love the composition and the paneling of the JoJoLands a lot so far. And this chapter is like just some really phenomenal stuff once we really get into it. And this is a great opening shot to start on.
It's crazy. Like, look at the clouds. Look at the way that the buildings kind of curve away from us as if we're in a fisheye lens.
It's
Also,
really
I'd like to point
also
out...
like subtly setting up everything we're going to see in this chapter.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
The birds.
You can see the clouds, the birds.
the
All of
clouds.
these are going to be important in the coming fight. The chairs behind Paco.
Mhm.
Oh my god, even the chairs. You guys are fucking geniuses. I didn't even think of that.
I know I'm a genius.
Hey, we wouldn't have you come on the show if you weren't like cool and had cool things to say about JoJo.
It is true, and my brain wasn't pulsating with knowledge.
Where do you work out? The library.
The library.
The library.
The library.
Right, so we got fake Paco and real Paco and
real
dying
Paco.
Jodio.
Dying Jodio.
Paco Loveland Sus.
Paco Lovelantis and Paco Loveland Sus.
Yes.
All right. This is a beautiful page. Next.
Beautiful.
Also, I want you guys to
Beautiful
pay...
close-up of Paco's eyeballs.
I want you guys to pay attention throughout the chapter of like how this sword knife thing is drawn. Because it keeps switching back and forth. Like right now, it seems to be like a stiletto dagger, like a really thin, like a thin, pointy, sharp, long thing. It doesn't have much width at the base.
You can see this. You can see this like the clearest, like when the page where Paco blocks the blade with the tray.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
This is like the best spot to see like the difference.
That's what I'm saying. Right there, it looks like a fucking sword. Like it increases in width towards the tip. Like it can't decide if it's like a stiletto dagger or if it's like a sword or if it's something else.
Maybe
the
it's
appearance keeps changing.
Stand.
What?
Maybe it's a stand.
that does check out with this guy's stand ability though.
A little bit. It
A little
kinda
bit.
does.
Okay. So this page, Paco's eyes, the knife from Sus Paco, dead Jodio on the ground. Who the hell are you? And this is like the first we get a glimpse of like what actually this power is. because you
Yeah,
can
so
see through Paco's head to the stuff
I
behind.
was going to say I was almost worried by the end of last chapter that this is going to be just a slightly better version of
Oingo
Kanum?
Boingo.
Of Oingo Boingo, yeah, of the shape-shifting one, I believe is Kanum. Kanum.
Yeah. And Thoth is
Where
the
it's
book.
just, yeah, Thoth is the book. Where it's just like, oh, he can shapeshift to look like other people around him, but that's just about it.
Yeah.
But no, he can not only turn invisible, but as we'll see throughout the chapter, project himself as an illusion on the environment around him,
Yeah.
which is terrifying. Which is so much scarier than if he could just turn invisible.
Right. So this page is fucking awesome. We get the "Who the hell are you?" and then Lovelancea swings.
He's
This-
just, yeah, he is no longer sharing words. They had their chance. He is all action now.
Guys, can I just say, this is my favorite fight in the part
This-
so far, and
Absolutely.
I love fights like this in every JoJo part. A fight which is aided by stand abilities, but is also just a fisticuffs brawl. Like,
Yes.
think about part 6, Jolene versus
Exactly,
Meteor Man.
yes.
Versus, yeah.
Survivor arc, yes.
Survivor arc. Part
Great.
8,
I love
Josuke
Survivor.
versus both of the Aphex twins. That was a very
Yes.
physical fight. He was
The
kicking
Aphex
their
twins.
asses.
Fight.
Anyway,
Westwood. Viviana Westwood is the
yeah. Guard Westwood's secret.
Waves. Yeah. That's a great fight. Yeah, with the really disgusting toenail scene.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. But then, you know, you
That's a
gotta
gnarly.
remember, like, Jolene is gonna get her hand turned inside out later. So we gotta work up to it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't just rip that band-aid off.
Can't just rip that toenail off.
Can't just rip that toenail off.
But this page, these 2 pages, so
This-
fucking sick.
This is already one of my favorite uses of a stand ability I've ever seen.
So goddamn cool. He's
But-
getting swung at. He sticks his arm to the food tray. Block,
And
do
uses
the
it-
hustle.
Do the hustle.
He says it.
Oh.
He says,
And
do the hustle.
I was worried early on. I was worried early on that, like, of the core group, Paco's stand seemed the weakest in terms of potential.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this fight is showing, like, the limits of what he can do with his one ability.
Yeah, with just one thing of I can make things stick to my body real good.
This is
I
incredible.
also personally liked the moment where he subdued Rohan by sticking himself to the grates on the ceiling and then putting him in a chokehold like that and just sticking his body to Rohan.
Exactly. Yes, that was another good moment for.
Oh, I like that
Awesome.
he's like a true grappler in JoJo, and you can just kind of see the fighting game moveset being built up for him right now in a really great way.
Hey guys, sorry about
Hello.
that. Something came up I had to go rush and attend to, but it is now taken care of.
All good,
Excellent.
man. Excellente.
All right. What was the last thing that got said before I had to leave?
We were talking about fights that showcase the unexpected potential of Paco's stand,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
the hustle.
Right. That's just what we were talking about. You're talking about the Rohan fight. And that's really cool, the Rohan fight, because he uses the hustle to stick to the ceiling, but also, like, he doesn't just, like, grab Rohan's wrist. He, like, merges his hand into his arm with the hustle in order to immobilize him. It was very cool, very creative.
And we get to see a lot of that creativity on display in these next couple of pages.
This shit is awesome. So, immediately, right, like, he's got the shield, and he turns the shield also into counterattack, and he punches him in the fucking face. And then he grabs a chair.
Is this punch? This is a zoom punch.
It is a zoom punch! Look how long his fucking arm is.
Yeah, that's a zoom punch.
That is totally a goddamn zoom punch.
Back in the part 1, part 2 days, everything Paco is doing would have been a Haman technique.
Oh my god, you're so right.
God,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
you're so right. It even looks like he's got this split panel here of him breathing in
Oh
After
yeah.
after he punches, and in between him flexing to grab the chair.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Dude, what a thing to say. You're a genius. Because, Jonathan and Zappelli sticking a bunch of leaves together to, fly away. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's totally... He's stuck the thing to his arm. This all would be Hamon.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's such a thing to say because it gives you a real sense of how, in a certain way, nothing's changed.
No. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, fuck. That's crazy.
Wow. I still love the choreography of this fight, too, because you can see while he's going for the punch, the chair got knocked over.
Right.
And he doesn't even have to look at it. He just knows that because it's touching him now, he's going to activate the hustle and use it, and then flex and twist his body.
The chair got sucked into his vortex. Now he can use it.
His hustler vortex. Yeah.
His hustler vortex.
That's awesome. Everyone should have a hustler vortex.
This shit is fantastic.
Phenomenal.
You were absolutely right, Casey. He would be a pure grappler in the JoJo fighting game.
Oh,
1000%.
absolutely. He's got to be right up in your face. He can only use anything that's within his body's range.
All right, so he lands the punch, follows up with the chair. Beautiful. And I love the way the speed lines are coming off of him when he throws the chair, because you can tell he, hip tossed it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. He really just put his whole body into that.
And so then this person...
Which is really cool, too, just because based on this little bit alone, you can see how familiar Paco is with his stand ability. It's not something that he is just awakened to.
Oh, yeah.
He threw that chair with enough force to knock a man 5 feet through a table.
This is a man who has practiced with his ability.
Yes, he has practiced the hustle.
They've said that he's like a thief and that he uses it to pickpocket people, but he seems like pretty rough and tumble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely used it for fighting before.
100%.
Oh, you know what's fucked up, though? I forgot about this until just now. The very first chapter where he's introducing everybody to us, right after, the drug deal. Right. So, his name is Paco Lovlantis. Until 2 years ago, he was pretty chubby, but now he's like this, chiseled like a rock. I wonder what that means.
I wonder what that means.
He was fat, and now he's ripped.
Just like Funny Valentine.
Paco Lovlantis, age 19, is still in high school. I don't know what he was doing for a year, but I don't think it was something like studying overseas.
No.
His left ear got like that from a case of domestic violence where his dad bit it? What the fuck?
I've already forgotten all this, yeah.
Stand ability. Paco loves stealing. He's a low-life thief. He prefers the game-like enjoyment he gets from stealing more than video games or spam onigiris. Paco's muscles are unusual. They can grab onto things with the back of his hands or elbows. I wouldn't even have him move the joints in his fingers. Mosquito, the blood, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, Dragona catches him and pulls on his ear.
Were you looking for the panel where, Jodio gives the play-by-play on, did you see that?
Yeah.
Go back and review the footage.
I just got it.
He wants to do the Cusco thing and be like, okay.
Let's see the instant replay on that.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
His form looks good.
Wait, I forgot that Meryl McKee is 10 feet tall.
Yeah, she is a giant woman. That's a whole lot of woman.
It's a big woman.
I hope we see more of the big woman.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, so that's that.
Speaking of odd character designs, Casey, did you hear they're remaking the One Piece anime?
Oh no.
I sure did. Which
now I think I might just wait for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. It seems like they're just making One Piece Brotherhood. The only slight how do I put it? Point of concern that I have is that apparently, and I didn't know this until it was pointed out, this studio that has adapted it has dabbled in the usage of the AI technologies, which I'm not. I'm not jazzed about that. I'm hoping they keep it out of my pure One Piece, considering that the current arc is literally focused on the replacement of the human spirit and individuality with that of a machine. So, uh-oh.
Well, there's hoping.
Here's hoping. But Wit Studio has done good stuff. They animated the Attack on Titans, Ranking of Kings, which was really good. But they have used AI in like some of their backgrounds and stuff, as opposed to getting actual background artists, which isn't the best thing that they could do.
That's not really what you want to hear for somebody
That's
adapting One Piece.
That's not what you want to hear for someone adapting One Piece, which has a very distinct style of all things that you can't just say, "Oh, One Piece style." To hire a background artist, let people work, let people do their jobs, let them make art. But yeah, One Piece is good.
I really feel like there should be some. I don't want AI. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't want it. I don't want it in my One Piece. I don't want it in my JoJo. I don't want it anywhere.
I went
not
to
on a boat, not in a moat, not with a goat, not on a plane, not on a train.
I went to a fucking holiday Christmas party for my hotel, and they had like AI shit up on the screen, like during like the dance segment at the end where everyone was dancing. There was like a dance floor and there was a DJ, and there was like this a trippy visuals thing that was happening, but it was clearly like Mid-Journey because it was like reshaping itself constantly, and it was the thing where like you're constantly zooming into it, you're just pushing in, and it's like a whole fucking thing. It was like a castle or whatever, but as you go in, it just like generates new details over and over. And I was looking at it and I was like, damn. It used to be that someone had to put hard work into developing like trippy visuals, and now you just type in trippy visual. You know what I mean? Like there used to be craft, there used to be art. Like there was a guy who like figured out how to make it look wrong in an entertaining way, and now it's just
you used to be able to learn the rules and then learn how to break them, and now you can just break all of the rules. You can just cheat.
Yeah.
You can just cheat.
I don't know.
It's one more thing to hate about Marvel's Secret Invasion, because that used an AI generated title sequence.
Intro sequence, yes, was AI generated.
Yeah, I don't.
It
I
shows.
I don't like it. The thing is, like, at least Hirohiko Araki will always be drawing with his own hand.
Yeah, you cannot fake this.
No, I mean, you can fucking try, but like,
you can try real hard.
I have a keen eye for this shit, and I will know.
Grand Gorilla is really good at it. He got into the anime.
He's pretty good, but also like, I can tell.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like, I know what the Grand Gorilla style looks like, and he's good, but he's not like. There was another guy. I don't know if you knew about this guy. He was doing JOJOLian art. His name was Mono. Yeah, Mono_art 800. And so he used to be very, very into JoJo, and now he kind of draws things that are not JoJo at all. But the point being, his art was like almost indistinguishable from Araki's. Like, it was crazy. He would draw shit. I'm trying to scroll back far enough to find some of his JoJo shit so I can send it to you. But he was really, really good, and I was following him, and then he was like fixing his garage door and crushed and destroyed his hand. And it took him like months of recovery and like physical therapy to get his hand back to normal. He was drawing with just his left for a while. It was really sad. I think he's fine now.
Okay, that's good.
The thing about One Piece, and like the now why I'm worried about what you said, Casey, is I am never going to sit down and read 1,000 chapters of a manga.
Well, I'm definitely not going to watch 1,000 episodes.
You should, though. It's a fast read, is the thing.
But the thing is, like, the alternative right now is a bad anime, a bad filler-filled anime that I can put on and like have it playing the dub.
Slow-paced filler anime.
But I can sit through an anime given enough time. I can't actively read 1,000 chapters of a manga.
You can if you have a.
You already have. JoJo is longer.
You are right now.
Check what this shit out. Is. Or I guess I have to do VX Twitter. Hang on.
Checking it out. Put the VX Twitter there. Put it there. Put it there, pal.
Look at these.
Oh, I see it.
Look at them.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Even the sketches.
Yeah?
It
It's
even has
crazy.
the rough, like, sketchy Araki style. Wow. That is phenomenal.
Look at these fucking
I
things.
can't
Like
believe I'm not following this guy. Well, I am now.
they are crazy. Like
This is
it looks so much like Araki drew it. You would almost be fooled.
you would almost.
If you told me this was a Rocky's burner account,
yeah,
I would absolutely believe
I
you.
would not. I would not question that.
There's a few things that maybe look a little bit weird. Like Mamazuku's hat flaps are way too fucking big.
Yeah.
But I mean, Araki draws them like that sometimes.
God,
It's insane.
Toru with the Wonder of You scarf immediately makes his design like 10% better.
It does. It's an instant fucking upgrade.
Oh my god.
But yeah, this guy is
Also,
really.
I just want to talk about how funny it is that Toru's not playable at all.
Yeah, he just shows up in cutscenes.
Oh yeah.
He just shows up for the cutscenes.
That's incredible.
He is such a bad main villain
They
that-
didn't even try.
that the
They
main
didn't
villain
even want
rep for part 8 is his stand.
Is his stand, which is objectively just better than he is,
Man.
and also like technically its own thing too, because it kept existing after him, and presumably was existing before him, because it's just the force of calamity. But JoJolian bullshit. Yeah. Wonder View's cool. JoJolian. Wonder View's cool. Toru's not cool. End of discussion.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this guy was the only person in the world that could draw like Araki, in my estimation. Like, Grand Gorilla is really good too, but I can tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he has his own style, which is like how JoJo appears to him in his mind. And it's still readably JoJo. I'm not telling you he's doing it wrong. It's readably JoJo. You understand it's JoJo. And it looks really good. But it's like, it's Grand Gorilla JoJo, you know? This guy seems to just have really, like, looked closely and analyzed Araki's style and, like, learned all of the little rules and is just applying them.
The tiniest of tiny details, just the minutia in the way that the hands are posed, in the way that the anatomy is as weirdly exaggerated as it is in Araki's style. It is fascinating to look at this.
It's crazy because he mostly just draws like robots and Kamen Riders, you know? Like,
yeah.
Before and after. He doesn't draw JoJo anymore. And he made a tweet like, sorry guys, I don't draw JoJo anymore. I know that's why a lot of you followed, but I was really, really, really into Part 8, and that's why I was drawing all that shit. And now, like, I'm reading Part 9, but I don't have that same feeling about it, so I'm not really drawing it. Sorry. And I was like,
I guess.
fair enough, man. I mean, like, I was also feeling a type of way about Part 8 that I'm not quite feeling about 9, but I am really enjoying 9. If only I could draw, you know?
Really enjoying it, and I'm just, like, optimistic that I'm going to continue to feel like this and feel better about Part 9 by the end than I did about Part 8 by the end.
Yeah.
Especially if we're also operating under the assumption that this is the last chapter, the last the last canonical part of the JoJo saga.
I think it will be, but I don't think Araki is going to stop drawing.
No.
I'm not sure Araki has a part 10 in him.
I don't think he does.
I just don't think the world has time. Yeah. I just don't think there's enough time left. Unfortunately. As grim as that is to say.
And on that existential note, I actually do want to go back to briefly to we were talking about One Piece and catching up on a manga, and I just want to say what I did for JoJo and what I would have to do for One Piece are not actually the same, because I watched the first 3 parts and I watched up to, I believe it was the Let's Eat Italian Food arc of the anime,
Oh,
in
sure.
in JoJo, and that is when I decided, okay, now I'm gonna start from here and read the rest of this in manga while I wait between episodes.
Yeah.
And then once I got to JoJolian, I was reading monthly. So it's not really that's not 1,000 chapters.
Yeah, no, I agree. But let me just try and figure out for you real quick, just for like completeness' sake and to know the actual stats. Let's see. Let's eat Italian food. That's where you started. So let's eat Italian food. No, not the episode. Thank you. Yes, chapter 303. So that's chapter 303 of Diamond is Unbreakable. And so Diamond... Oh, sorry. That's chapter 303 of JoJo total. Chapter 38 of Diamond is Unbreakable. So let's do a little math here. Diamond is Unbreakable is how many chapters long? I just want to know. I'm not, like, calling you out. I just legitimately want to know how many chapters you read.
I am legitimately actually curious as well.
What the math is? Yeah.
Okay, so 439 minus 266, because part 4 ran from chapter 266 to 439. That gives us 173 chapters of part 4. Now, minus, what, 38? Because that's what Let's Eat Italian Food was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 38. So 173, the total number of chapters in Diamond is Unbreakable, minus 38 is 135. So then let's go see how many chapters part 5
Then you just need to add
is.
the part 5 and part 6,
Yeah.
part 7.
Exactly. Although with part 7, we're going to need to do some extra math because some of those chapters count as 2, and then every chapter in JoJolian counts as 2 because they are double length.
This is now a math podcast.
Yeah,
viewers.
we're doing a little bit of math.
We've become the Locacacast math cast.
Why the fuck is my goddamn... My shit is so low. My goddamn internet
but
sucks.
if you're listening to this podcast, it means you're a fan of JoJo and probably a bit of an intellectual yourself.
Oh, of course.
Perhaps.
You need at least a high IQ to understand.
Oh, extremely.
Did we talk about Rick and Morty in this recording or the recording that got scrapped?
That was the one that got scrapped, but Rick and Morty is amazing.
That would have been a
You should
good
go watch
callback
it.
joke if it didn't get killed.
Yeah, that would have been a good one if we
But
actually
needless to say,
recorded
Rick
it.
and Morty is amazing. You should go watch it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay, so it's
Rick and
actually
Morty
not my
good.
internet that sucks. JoJo Wiki is just slow as fuck right now. I have no idea why. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So
No, some sites are just slow.
the amount of chapters you read from Diamond is Unbreakable was 135. That's plus all of Vento Arreo, which is 155 chapters. That's plus all of Stone Ocean, which is 158 chapters. So far, that's
all of
448.
Steel Ball Run. Okay.
So far, that's 448 chapters. Let me go find out when did Steel Ball Run switch to double.
Oh, but
length.
then also after Steel Ball Run, we have to add up until. God, when was I caught up? It would have had. It would have had.
Oh,
You roboted out real crazy.
Oh shit! Sorry.
After chapter 24. Okay, so we have 448. That's all you read of 4 plus 5 and 6. So then we have 24 normal length chapters of part 7. And there's 95 total chapters. So that's 71 chapters, which are double length. So that's 71 times 2, which is 142.
For this metric, the old chapters of JoJo are equivalent are about equivalent in length to a One Piece chapter. Is that what we're going with?
Yes, I mean One Piece has the normal 25-page chapters. There's a little
More or
variation, but
and like I said, it truly is. I know it is daunting to look at. It truly is a fast read because unlike the anime that is currently airing, the One Piece manga is paced fast. There is never a dull moment. And there is never something that
because I understand that like part of that is when the anime was airing originally they wanted to have an episode every week for forever.
Regardless of what it took, they would have that one episode a week, and boy howdy did they.
Which is also why it looks like shit from what I've heard.
Yes.
Sometimes.
It doesn't look great all the time. It's paced really slowly. There's a lot of filler arcs, and only like one of them is actually particularly good from what I've heard. I don't watch the anime. I've always just read One Piece. So these are just things that I have heard. So I can't, in good consciousness, recommend the anime, but I can recommend the manga because you control the pace.
Well, like I said, the issue for me is that reading a manga, you have to like actively engage with the content, right? It's not like put on One Piece and just like let autoplay
Right.
basically go through.
Okay,
No.
so Chris, I've got the final number for you. And now this isn't like stopping at when you became a monthly reader. This is just including all of JoJolian.
Up to Steel Ball Run.
No, this is including
Or up
every
to
all the
up-
manga
up to the
chapters
end
of
of
JoJo
JoJolian.
that you have read up to the end of JoJolian. I haven't added in part 9 yet.
Okay.
I guess we would do plus 20 for part 9 because it's 10 chapters that are double length.
Okay. So this final number has an asterisk next to it because for monthly reading, it's a different beast than like catch up.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, without factoring in when you stopped binging and started going monthly, this is just the total number of chapters of JoJo that you have read. 835.
Okay.
Ooh.
So it is under 800, it is under 1,000 rather, but it is close. It is very close.
Right.
Closer, yeah.
And I would
closer than
add
maybe-
plus 20 chapters because you've read 10 chapters of the JoJoLands, and each one of those is double length. So it's really 855. But not all of those were binged. Most of them were, but, all the JoJolian... You would have to take out 240 chapters if you wanted to take out JoJolian in part 9. But I don't know at what point of JoJolian you started going monthly. That's a lot of chapters. I'm just saying it is doable.
It might have been around Yoshi Yagiyama.
Oh! Ring the bell! I can't believe.
Did it not ring?
No. You rang it. I was just participating in the excitement of you ringing it. Man, that's so funny. You had it ready to go. You had the bell all ready to be clicked.
Paired, prepped, locked, and loaded.
That's fantastic. So, Chris, we were just talking about how your journey with JoJo, you watched up until part 4 and then read the rest of it. I did almost the same thing. I got into JoJo in 2015, I believe. 2016, maybe? Late 2015, I believe. And it was a thing where parts 1, 2, and 3 were fully done. They're fully out. A lot of people got into JoJo 2014, early 2015, when we were still waiting for that second season of Stardust Crusaders. But when I started, Stardust Crusaders was finished. And so I watched all 3 parts, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's so goddamn good.
I believe it was also, like Stardust Crusaders was also finished when I started.
Yeah. And the thing was, it had to have been late 2015 that I got into it, because that was when my senior year of high school began. And in April 2016, the part 4 anime was going to start. And I was really excited about it. I'm like, yay, more JoJo, fuck yeah. But I find out that it's coming out in April in like December. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta wait so long for more JoJo. But I don't want to read part 4 because it's about to be animated, like so soon. It's just about to happen. And so I want to watch it animated first, like I did the other 3. And so I decide to skip part 4 and go ahead and read part 5. I was trolling around on Reddit.
That's the other thing is like the closer you get to an anime adaptation, the less worth it seems to start with the manga.
Right, exactly.
So like, I think what I want to do is wait for the new One Piece to come out, get through that, and then I'll start reading from wherever that leaves off.
So I can tell you exactly what chapter you would need to start on. I can actually tell you that because this, at least for now, I actually don't know.
Do we know how far the anime is going to go?
At least for now, I don't actually know if they're committing to the entire One Piece, but they did say that for the sake of this adaptation,
I imagine it's not going to be like a continuous forever like the
Yeah.
original.
I
Like
imagine it is
I
maybe going to be seasonal at best,
exactly, yes.
or just this one and done to keep getting people into it, much like the live action has gotten people into it recently.
Well,
Even
if
just
it's if
clips
it's
of the modern anime getting people into it recently. But
if it's going to be one and done, they're probably going to do all of East Blue, right?
yes, that is exactly what they're doing. They are doing the East Blue Saga for the One Piece anime remake. If nothing else, that's what they're doing. So then you would get to start immediately at the Arabasta Saga, which would
Okay.
be chapter 101.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So, the thing I was going to say was, it was totally okay to skip part 4 and go straight to 5. They are very much. I always say this: parts 4, 5, and 6 aren't sequels to each other. They're all just different sequels to 3. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
Like part
Much
4.
in the same way that every game that Yoko Taro makes is a sequel to Drakengard.
The Drakengard, absolutely.
Yeah. So parts 1, 2, 3, they're all sequels to the last one. They build on what came before.
There are
Part
also
4?
kind of sequels, like unsynchronous to parts 1, 2, and 3. If you think about the lineage of the characters,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Part 4 builds on 3. Part 5 builds on 3. Part 6, does it build on 5 or 4? No, just 3.
Just 3.
Yeah. So 4, 5, and 6 are all weird different sequels to 3. And because of this, they're kind of disconnected from each other in a way. The only thing that I was missing that I didn't understand going into part 5 was who Koichi was. And that was it. I just
Pretty
knew
much.
it was somebody that was like working for Jotaro because they call him on the phone. And that's all I needed to know. You know, like the story wasn't impacted at all by my not knowing who Koichi was.
He's not there enough to make it discernible.
It's like going into Thor Ragnarok without having watched Doctor Strange.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? I don't need that. Anyway, so they were kind of disconnected from each other. So I skipped parts, but I did it the right way. And so then I watched 4, and I read 5 and 6 and 7, and I started 8, and I got to probably Yotsuyu Yagiyama, but right before, like when he and Norisuke are talking in the garden. Actually, no, I think I got to where the chestnuts are encroaching upon them. I don't think we had seen Yotsuyu yet, but I was like, okay, I'm a little bored. Like, I just read parts 5, 6, 7, and now I'm in 8, and I'm like burnt out on JoJo, and I will just come back later. But at that point, Chris was already reading monthly, and I like abandoned JoJolian for like 5 years until like 2020, 2021, and then I burned through all of it and caught back up, and I was like, oh man, this is so fucking good. This is the best JoJo there has ever been. We have to do a podcast about it.
It's only going to get better from here.
Exactly.
And then you looked at each other and you smiled.
And then we look at the camera, like on
Isn't
SpongeBob, and it goes,
so reenactment of that moment. Gee, Zach, isn't it great that JoJolian is amazing? And it always will be.
And it always will be.
That's right. It always will be. It's moving towards its conclusion. It's going to wrap up all of its mysteries. The ending's going to be so good. I love JoJolian. Nothing could steer me wrong.
Satisfying. I will feel satisfied as a viewer, as a reader, as a fan of JoJo as a whole. Wow. I have good expectations.
What would it take to make the Part 8 anime good?
JoJolian Brotherhood.
What is your standard for good, Zach? How do you define that?
What'd you say?
Better than JoJolian.
No, I mean, like, should they take out Flashback Man? Should they take out the countdown? Should they take out the flash forward?
Yes.
I can tell you this much: the JoJolian anime will be better than the JoJolian manga.
It will, 100%. They will figure out a way to fix the pacing.
But
They would have to cut a lot of content,
but
it would make the anime better.
Unfortunately, the bar here is the JoJolian manga.
Well, here's the thing.
Exactly.
You
Which
need
is
to
quite a low
delete.
bar.
Because here's the thing. The JoJo Part 6 anime, they showed us that they are willing to remove things which are just a little bit confusing. Like when they turned Anasui into man Anasui the whole time, they removed that original first appearance of girl Anasui.
Well, that
Sure.
was Araki always changes his mind about the character designs, and that's
He
and
even
the anime catches us up later.
Sure, but the thing was that in the manga, and
Anasui for the anime if they wanted.
in the manga, androgyny was always supposed to be part of his appeal. It was part of his thing. You know what I mean? Araki has said that. It's like, I wanted a character sort of like in that in-between realm. And then when he shows up in male form to save Jolene, Foo Fighters has a line where she looks at him and is like, what the hell? Is this guy a man or a woman? And then we don't really ever mention it again after that, but it was an intentional part of the character. Foo Fighters has a line where she remarks upon it. And so, just to remove the Lady Anasui, and then also to remove that line is like, okay, sure, that's making it a simpler and less confusing for people, and they're not going to have questions. But also, like, you know, what are we dumbing down JoJo for? Like, fuck it, you know? Like, just leave that weird shit in there. I love weird shit.
We kept Gyakio's rant about the Merchant of Venezia.
Yeah.
All that does for his character is show that he gets irrationally upset at stupid shit in Italian.
Anyway, they showed us in the Part 6 anime.
That's what the subtitles say.
They showed their
Yeah.
Getting upset about stupid shit in Italian.
In Italian,
So,
close bracket.
That same David production that removed Lady Anasui is definitely going to remove Flashback Man. You know what I mean?
They're okay,
it's either gonna remove Flashback Man or it's going to update the design so we know who the fuck it is.
I was going to say it's either they'll remove Flashback Man if it doesn't turn out he was a character that we met in Part 8, or if he's somehow, some way a character we're going to meet in Part 9.
You know, I don't agree with you at all. I think they need to remove the Flashback Man segment entirely, because by the end of the story, we make such a big deal about Josuke accepting that his memories will never come back, and that there's no way to return to who he was before, and he's just never going to be able to remember any of those things. To have that at the beginning of the story, when you get to the end, you're like, yeah, but what about the fucking flashback you had? Like, you forgot about it, Josuke?
Then why? Yeah.
That would make me feel like, okay, let me just try to induce another flashback. Like, it's thematically incongruent with where the story ends up, so you need to remove it.
Fix or remove the flash forward.
The flash forward makes zero sense in hindsight.
That's a problem. They actually have to. They have to either change the content. They have to remove it.
The only way the flash forward makes sense is if you buy into the theory that the scene of Tsurugi walking upstairs to get the body bag is actually not the same scene as the scene from a moment ago with everyone at breakfast. Like, you have to convince yourself that it actually cuts and that's a different time and different place and different scene, even though Tsurugi walks over the stairs and goes up them. But, like, that's the only way the flash forward makes sense, is if it's not like half of it isn't even a flash forward.
Because they have fixed actual timeline things already. They fixed it in the Part 4 anime where there's like those 3 fights that are going on simultaneously that they cut and actually showed you, like, this is what's happening at 7:30.
That wasn't changing the content, that was changing the order in which it was presented to you.
Right.
Because that all chronologically is the same.
No, of course. But they have that ahead of them with Part 8. But, if you'll remember, they also have something in Part 7 ahead of them of who shot Johnny.
Oh,
They have to make that make sense, because that timeline also doesn't add up.
No, that is supposed to be confusing.
Shouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Like, literally, it's the solution is that everybody shot Johnny. In everybody's own universe, they shot Johnny, and in Johnny's universe, everybody shot him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a fucking it's a confusing fight, and it's supposed to be confusing. So I don't even really feel like they should fix that.
That would be the ultimate in the battle royale of abilities that only get used once. it would be D4C's first appearance.
What did D4C do in his first appearance? What do you mean?
Oh, he just muted himself.
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry, I am back. No, that moment where instead of D4C's power being I can travel between dimensions when I'm between things, it's I can overlay dimensions on top of each other so that I can get 3 people to shoot the same guy all at once from 3 different dimensions in 3 different perspectives.
I kind of thought he just did the normal D4C thing on them, and like, because he can move objects and people from universe to universe. You know, he doesn't. It's not just himself. He can do it to somebody else. He could show up with
If
other
I'm
things.
remembering correctly,
Whose perspective do we see that scene from?
3 different people.
Wait, do you guys really want to litigate who shot Johnny right now? We're an hour and a half in, and we've been on the same page.
Only if we have a simple answer to this. That like if they're like this the simplest answer is who is the like what's the perspective of the scene. If it's from Johnny's perspective, then it means that Valentine is moving him between the dimensions. If it's not from Johnny's perspective, then and it's from somebody else, from an observer in the scene, he has to be moving 3 different people.
Pulled up. During early chapters, people were somehow able to see into different dimensions from different angles, but this property is never expanded upon.
Okay. Well,
so it used to be he can overlay the worlds at different angles
so
to one
you know
another
what?
and allow them to exist on top of each other in the same place at the same time.
The anime kept Wham's shadow auto attack thing.
Sure.
So I in fact we shouldn't actually even talk about removing that scene, because in my opinion it's one of the coolest scenes.
No,
with
it is. I'm
D4C.
saying it is super cool. It just doesn't make any sense at all. It just makes 0 sense.
But that's part of the reason why it's cool.
Oh,
Because it's so confusing.
D4C is just a weird ass stand, but I love it.
It's the equivalent of seeing Polnareff move 1 step down the stairs when he steps forward the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Dio
Sorry.
stopped time and then carried Polnareff all the way down the stairs just to fuck with him. Trying to find what?
I'm trying to find. Hamon Beat explained in a video who shot Johnny Joestar, and I honestly didn't commit it to memory, so I'm trying to find like where is that clip. I wonder if I can go watch it.
It's also not who shot Johnny from Johnny's perspective. That chapter is also framed from the people in the park that Gyro was interviewing to find out who shot Johnny, and they all saw a different person, even though they were only standing like maybe 15 feet apart from one another, looking down the same alley at slightly different angles, and each one saw a different person.
I don't know. I'm looking it up, and all the people are saying, yeah, this is like Araki originally intended the ability to be overlaying dimensions. And I'm like, okay, source? Like, people say that shit all the time. Actually, Araki originally intended this. But, like, I don't know. I got no damn clue.
No, Araki never originally intends for anything to be anything.
He doesn't intend shit.
No, let's just call a spade there. There is never any intent. It's just, this looks cool. Will it ever happen again? Maybe not.
Well, that's the thing, man. That's kind of something that you just gotta... That's something you just gotta accept as, like, part and parcel with JoJo, is that, like, he plays fast and loose with the rules in order to create these cool-ass fucking moments. Mm-hmm. And... that's just how it is, you know? You gotta accept that. You gotta take the good with the bad. Sometimes shit is just not gonna make sense.
I'm just bracing myself for the people who couldn't understand how King Crimson works to get to who shot Johnny. No, but actually, though, who shot Johnny? How does D4C work?
You're gonna
Please
see
tell
a
me
million fucking videos
you are going
pop
to
up
see a
in YouTube
million.
on your YouTube feed.
People are going to be screaming and crying and going to war over who shot Johnny, and that's all I'm putting on my hard hat. I'm bracing myself for impact for
Well,
You're gonna see like 20 videos fill up your sub box, 30 minutes long,
that. Yep.
all trying to explain
Here's
this
how
one scene
D4C works.
that was never supposed to make sense in the first place.
No.
in its first proper demonstration, this is from the JoJo Wiki. This doesn't have a source other than the chapter itself. It has a little 4, and you click on it, it just takes you to Chapter 69, D4C, Part 4. In its first proper demonstration, the range of D4C's power could be expanded beyond the 2 objects necessary for transport between worlds, as
Exactly.
Valentine was able to overlap 2 separate parallel worlds with the base world. As a consequence of the ability's larger range, those unaffected by the stand's ability were able to see into different overlapping parallel worlds depending on their viewing angle.
Depending on their viewing angle.
But also, the trapping someone between 2 things thing actually does come into play in this, though, doesn't it? Because the flag?
He uses the flag, yes.
Yeah. So his ability is
You
still...
actually see it become that ability while it's being the other ability, which is the first time I think that's ever happened.
Yeah, that would be like if Josuke
Not-
started using exploding bubbles while he was plundering.
While he was,
And then never
yeah,
plundered again.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, yeah, because for me, I didn't think of that as like a moment the ability is first demonstrated where it doesn't make sense with its later usages. I just thought of that as like, there's weirdness, and then we get the real demonstration of how it works with the flag. You know what I mean? So I just took the flag thing with me and was like, got it. Got to be between 2 objects, and you can go to parallel universes.
For me, yeah, on my first reading, I never took anything like to heart of it. But then on subsequent like analysis, I'm like, it's also making a point to show the different times that these characters are moving throughout the day. Like it'll be, 7 a.m. and Diego's in the White House or blah 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 or whatever, or in the courthouse or whatever. And then that's where the things start to get a little messy. Is if you actually try to match the timeline, the like literal timeline that is being shown, is where I believe there are inconsistencies.
Yeah, definitely.
But this character actually shouldn't have been there by this time because that just wouldn't have been possible.
Check this out, though. This
I'm
is
checking.
from the JoJo Wiki. This is the only note on the D4C page. This is a note at the bottom.
Oh boy.
When Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap's name is written in full in the manga and JoJo Veller, it is presented in both English and the literal Japanese translation, Itomo Tasayuku Okonawareru. Itomo Tayasuku Okonawareru Egutsunai Koi. The latter is literally translated back to English as the sentence "filthy acts at a reasonable price" for the localizations of All-Star Battle,
It's
Eyes of Heaven,
canon.
and All-Star Battle R.
No
It's canon. Itomo Tayasuku Okonawareru Egutsunai Koi.
This is canon.
Filthy acts at a reasonable price is canon. They deprived us of flaccid pancake. They cannot take filthy acts done at reasonable prices from my cold, dying hands.
Additionally, the original Japanese releases of those aforementioned games write the stand's name in katakana as Dati Dizu Dano Dato Chipu. So it's normal in their game, but they had to fudge it for us in the English world.
Thank you. If I remember correctly, there's also something interesting about alternate universes Diego's the world, in that in the original it actually was never spelled in katakana either. It was just the world in
Right,
English.
in caps, which is
In all
interesting because I believe in the Japanese version of All-Star Battle, Diego's is called The World in all caps in English, and Dio's is like Sawarudo, like it's in the kana. I just think that's
Very
strange.
Yeah.
But they honored that. Anyways, that's enough of that.
The abbreviation of the stand is supposed to basically represent death, because you have D, the 4th letter, 4, and then she is how that would be pronounced with the accent.
I never
Wow.
thought about that.
I found there was another one I was doing on The Wonder of You. His age, the fact that he is 89 years old. Oh, I have to pull this up to get the exact nomenclature right. But basically, 89, the katakana for it sounds similar to the word calamity in
Oh,
Japanese.
What?
Wow.
That's
Yeah, let me see
crazy.
if I can find it here on
That's
the
crazy. All these great puns that we don't get.
trivia. Yeah. Okay, in Japanese, Akefu's age of 89 years old can be read as yakusai. This is homophonous for the word calamity, yakusai.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so every time he says he's 89 years old, that was actually
I am
a
calamity
subtle
years old.
implication.
They were-
Yeah,
They were
yakusai.
that he was telling us his ability the whole time.
He really was.
That's crazy.
Actual
See,
foreshadowing in JoJolian.
why did he do that and put so much detail and thought and effort and attention into that and like couldn't end the goddamn story right?
Man, we could spend literal hours.
Araki's a little bit like Kojima. He tends to get bogged down in the
minutia.
bullshit minutia.
You said
That is-
that and I just buried my head in my hands like,
That
oh
I-
no, he's right.
He's
Araki
so
is
right. They
Kojima.
he is the Kojima of manga because they will both take 5 minutes out of their time to have a character talk about the most benign thing
Right.
that is the author's own special interest.
Right. Dude, you remember all the calls with Paramedic in Metal Gear Solid 3 where she's like, Snake, have you ever seen Dracula?
Yeah.
I really love Godzilla.
There's that bit in Death Stranding. Have you played Death Stranding or seen Death
I
Stranding?
bought it to support Kojima because I was like, I love this man. I'll buy his game. He's just been ousted from Konami. And then I played it for maybe like a half hour and never again.
There's a bit in Death Stranding where Norman Reedus is on the beach with a woman in the red dress.
Oh God, please no.
She literally looks at him and she's looking right at the camera and she says, "We'll run and jump together like Mario and Princess Peach."
I
Oh.
fucking knew it.
'Cause
Christ.
they're on,
I
'cause
knew
they're
that
on
was
the-
where you were gonna go with that.
'cause they're on the beach.
I-
Also, of course, Die Hard Man, etc., etc.
But, like,
Guillermo del Toro.
Hot
Also-
Coldman was a character in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. His name was Hot Coldman. Like, this is not new.
Yeah, and he's awesome. I'm not.
Is
I'm
that
saying-
Heath
I'm
Flamesman from
saying he's
Undertale?
consistent.
I'm just saying he's not, like, running out of ideas. This is just how he
Oh.
operates.
I just can't wait until we get to OD and it's set in the original environment of Quiet Mountain.
What? You can't wait until we get to where? Quiet Mountain?
His new
OD.
game.
It's
OD.
his new game.
That's not Silent Hill. It's Quiet Mountain.
Because Kojima was originally supposed to make Silent Hills.
Yeah. I
but
didn't
then
hear about this.
Konami- But then Konami fired him,
Yeah.
so he went on to make Death Stranding instead. But now he's making
And he got
Quiet
the big
Mountain instead of
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
And OD, people think might stand for overdue.
Yeah. That's
And
fine.
I shit you not, people have analyzed the actual trailer teaser thing that they showed. It's if you look in the shape of the saliva that the character's mouth is producing while they're
What?
like screaming, you can read the kanji for Silent Hill.
What the fuck?
Because Kojima is insane.
He
and
is
he's
insane. Do you remember
And
when he did
autistic enough to think to do that.
yeah. Do you remember when he did
He's gone full rectal recursion incursion.
Do you remember when he did the thing where he showed off the Phantom Pain, but it wasn't a Metal Gear Solid game? And
Yeah,
it was like
it was a lie. He showed a lie.
he showed a lie. He showed the Phantom Pain as if it was like
You're
just
not-
about a guy in a hospital.
We are not going to see what OD the game is until it comes out.
Also, I would like to bring
Everything
up
we have seen is everything we're going to see is going to be a lie.
I'd like to bring up that in Berserk, Ode, O-D, the word Ode is like your magical essence, like the spiritual part of you that exists and is tangled with the physical part of you. And you can tap into your Ode and like be a sorcerer and stuff. But like you've got to stare at an apple and like, I'm comprehending its Ode, you know?
Yeah. At around the 42 to 44 second mark on the ODTGA 2023
Oh, that's
season
real,
trailer,
Zach. Zach, that's not just something from Berserk. That's real.
Oh, really?
That's an actual historical thing.
Oh, neat.
If you just Google the OD, the word ode, it's a which actually it's not. I'm not sure it's pronounced ode, but
Odd.
Oh, it says
anyway.
odd.
Odd.
A hypothetical
Well, that is
power
odd.
once thought to pervade nature and account for various phenomena, such as magnetism. Yeah, Ode or Odd in Berserk is like the Force, you know, a little bit. I mean, it's not the Force, but it's like it's a force that combines and penetrates all of nature, you know.
You can spot the letters ATAMI in the mouth of cult actor Udo Kier. Fans were quick to point this out and have begun theory crafting about what it could mean. It's very hard to see this emotion at full speed if you don't know what to look for, and it's doubly hard by internet compression on YouTube. But it's there. Atami, a city in the Japanese prefecture Shizuoka, which, as some might know, itself loosely translates to Silent Hill, is suspected by some to be the source of the inspiration for the town in the original 1999 PSX horror title,
Whoa.
Silent Hill.
so all of this to say, Kojima has gone up his own ass, found another ass, and then went up that.
He went up Jordan Peele's ass. The trailer and set stage for OD also reference PT. The big door walks through is literally the PT door, and you can see the door again in the reflection of Sophia Lilly's eyes at 1 minute and 14 seconds in the OD trailer.
Fucking insane. So he is just doing it.
He is just doing it.
That's incredible.
He is just making Quiet Mountain the game.
To get off of Kojima and to get back to Araki, and to make a beautiful segue to do that, I think that the thing is, with both Kojima and Araki, how they have a sort of shared-ness. Their ode is a similar shape.
Their oeuvre.
Yeah, their oeuvre.
Well,
their je ne sais quoi.
auteurs.
Exactly, that's
They're
what I'm getting at.
auteurs.
They are auteurs, and they are kind of rock star auteurs in their industry. Like, they're greatly respected, like, awesome heroes on top of the mountain. They're like wise elders. And so when you have that kind of reputation,
I love the idea of a
people...
wise elder being the craziest guy.
Yeah, well, dude, a wise elder on top of a mountain always was just some crazy guy from your village.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Altitude sickness.
But I
and all
think the
that.
thing is, because they're both like these auteur rock star people in their industry, they can kind of just do whatever they want.
Oh, absolutely.
Which results in, you just let this crazy auteur genius go unchecked, and it results in weird stuff.
The problem with that then is that when you have people around to keep them in check, that's when you get like your Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
When you lose those people, you go full Kojima and get Death Stranding and Odd, which will probably I'm gonna say that's Odd, not
OD.
Not OD. It might be. Who knows? Who fucking knows?
It's
Who
probably
fucking
that's
knows?
probably not even the title of the game.
But that
Probably
is the
not even-
thing, is like, once these people are rock stars, they lose the people around them that'll like check them and not let them do whatever they want.
You
And
need a
sometimes those
nomad.
limitations and restrictions
You
get us
need
the
the
best
guy-
art.
You need
You
the
need
guy
a
telling
nomad.
George
Dude.
Lucas,
What's his name? Akira Toriyama needed that editor telling him, no, I don't like this, make the new villain. The villains are an old man and a clown? Try again.
George Lucas is. Casey was saying George Lucas. That's another.
George
Great
Lucas,
example.
absolutely.
infamous example. He had people telling him no left and right for the original trilogy. Then he got big, and then he said, "I'm gonna make the prequels, and nobody's gonna stop me."
Well, here's
Now,
the thing, though.
who
I was
wants
watching...
to talk about midichlorians.
I was watching a long video about this the other day, and apparently, when the prequels were about to get made, George was like shopping around for other directors to like come in and make the Star Wars movies. Because, like, the first one was directed by George Lucas, the second one was directed by blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about the original trilogy.
Sure.
And they wanted David Cronenberg to direct the third one, actually. That's funny.
Dude,
Yeah.
that would have been awesome.
He literally was like, you guys are lying. And he said, well, I'm really not used to directing my own work that's not my own. I'm not used to dealing with other people's scripts. And they just hung up on him. He was like, well, I guess there goes that. Anyway, but the point is there were different directors, and there was Lawrence Kasdan in there, and there was a whole fucking, like, there was a shared, like, people around to police George. When he's trying to do the prequels, he goes around trying to, like, find those people again, or people to play those roles, and like, oh, do you want to direct this one? And pretty much everybody says to him, I don't know, I think you should do it, George. So nobody wanted the responsibility of making more Star Wars movies. The fucking stakes were just too high. So George was like, fine, I'll do it myself.
And then
And
he
you know
tapped
what?
into the deepest, darkest, dankest corners of his autistic brain and pulled out midichlorians.
But do you know what? As intensely George Lucas the prequels were,
It's better than anything.
it's we've seen what happens when it's
When you
not
don't
just
have
one
George.
person's vision
Yeah.
guide steering the ship, right?
And you also see what happens when you don't lay out the structure for your for your trilogy.
Yeah, that's,
That's
I
what
think,
I'm
the best
saying.
thing about the
One movie
Disney
at a
Star
time.
Wars sequel trilogy. That's the best thing about
Yeah.
it, is that it makes the prequels look really good in comparison.
It makes the prequels look phenomenal.
Yeah, I would so much
We
rather
didn't,
watch
we
those.
didn't,
You
It
we
kidding?
didn't
makes
know how good we
makes
had it.
Oh, yeah.
Attack of the Clones. It makes Attack of the Clones look like a modern day Citizen Kane.
Makes that shit look like Casablanca. It's incredible. All right, man.
Oh boy.
Let's get back on this fucking chapter. It's been like
Are
an
we-
hour since
is
we've...
this
If we can get
Is
back to
this
page 9 of
a
40,
JOJOLands podcast?
It always has been. It's the most
Always
dangerous
has.
JoJoLands podcast.
The most
This-
dangerous
now it always has been. Retcon.
Retcon.
That was such a
Rick
good...
and Morty.
And now it always has been.
All right. So the chair flies into him. He's like, was that a stand? That dirt-looking stuff floating around his face.
Oh,
It has
it
a
feels
texture.
so weird talking about JoJoLands now.
It's real sand. Every bit of it is a rock fragment with different colors.
Yeah, emphasis on rock fragment.
It's in bold. Anyway, so the character gets back up and we get to see their face for the first time.
Get to see their face through the illusion, through the weird thing going on.
One might say a grand illusion.
A grand illusion.
This is
perhaps.
so fucking sick. This next page, the villain gets up. Paco's like, who the hell are you? How long you been following us? And the villain, instead of answering any questions or saying anything, just stances back up.
Assume the position.
The time for words is over.
Just
Yeah.
gets stanced up.
Now
And
we
then
must fight.
Paco, this is so cool. If we don't just surrender, the only path left is violence, huh? Sure about that, asshole? It just happens to be my area of expertise. So good.
There's no way in hell we're giving you that lava rock. And
Fuck
then just
yeah.
back to it.
And then the dodge, and then a ton of dodges, and then the punch. But the
Yeah,
punch is
but
happening at the
the
same
fucking-
time as a stab.
He is
The
just
fucking
bobbing and
flurry
weaving.
here, and he's like just dipping and dodging everyone.
Yeah,
That's gonna look so good in
that's
animation.
gonna look great. They're gonna do a whole like EPO segment for that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be 2030.
I can't wait. Oh
2035.
boy. Boy howdy.
Anyway, so the punch, the stab's going to get him. He blocks the stab with the back of his hand, and then he starts
Hustling it.
hustling it, and then he punches his own arm, and the hustle travels up through the knife into the
Oh,
villain's body and starts
man.
exploding his muscles.
That's some fucking Fist of the North Star shit right there.
That's
Literally, yeah.
fucking
You want to
crazy.
talk about it? You want to talk about the hustle just being hormone? That's modern day hormone.
oh yeah, that's crazy, dude. That shit is wild.
Oh man! And then just grabs the guy by the throat. His neck feels like sand too. How about that?
Coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Gets everywhere.
I
So
can't believe we brought
irritating.
up Attack of the Clones right before we brought up sand.
Wow. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
It's all connected. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Jar Jar's the key to it all.
Jar Jar's the key to all this.
Usagi Aloha Oe is the key to all of this. He's a
he's
funnier
kind of
character than
the-
we've ever had in JoJo before.
He really is. to be honest. How about I strangle you? And this is where the ability becomes absolutely terrifying to me.
Right?
Like, this is just where it gets amazing.
This
was
page is
already really
insane
good.
with the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you notice already in like this first panel up here, his arm is gone, but
Yeah.
you don't notice it until down here where it appears in the clouds.
Well, look at the
When you
last
go
panel
back
on the
up-
previous page. He swings his arm behind his back. He like puts
He
his
does.
arm away out of view.
Yeah. He hides his arm from Paco.
And then the
Oh.
fucking
I missed that bit.
the
Yeah.
clouds are gonna stab him. This is an insane, like, this reminds me of like Weather Report. I mean, just the way he's drawing the clouds. They look so delicious.
Absolutely.
They're
Mhm.
delicious Weather Report clouds.
Or like a little bit of justice.
Oh yeah,
Very
definitely.
just. Yeah. Stabby hand.
The stab is gonna get him, but he just punches him in the face super
Yeah.
hard before the stab can even happen.
And he goes, "What the hell is this dirt floating around? The dirt fragments can amass together in a way that screws up my perception of how far away they are." That is
This
so
bit reminds me of Metallica.
crazy. Yeah, this stand is just like Metallica meets Doctor Wu meets The Fool meets Judgment meets like it is. This is the
Justice, I think you mean.
Justice,
Justice was Enya's stand.
yes, my mistake. This is it's the Swiss Army knife of stands. It does whatever you need it to do, but in a way that at least feels more believable than those types of abilities have in the past.
At this point, we've seen like so much. We've seen this stand. Sorry, Zach, did you?
Yeah, I was coughing. I was dying. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
At this point, we've seen the stand like do so much that like it would disappoint me now if it wasn't a stand.
Yeah. If this was just a thing that people or rock humans or whoever could do.
I don't know. You know, maybe there's a place in this world for rock humans that kind of act like rock animals. They just have a specific ability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that place would have been Doctor Wu back when it was only like doing one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Merc is constantly... Not constantly, I'm sorry. That's the wrong word to use. That makes it sound like you're bugging people about it. But Merc has always had this thought that Dr. Wu should not have had a stand. That should have just been a thing that he learned how to do with his rock humanity.
That would have made sense too, for the
Yeah.
fact that it also the other bodies reject it because they're like allergic to it because
Right.
he's not carbon based. He's what are they silicon based?
yes.
So that would have
so-
made. But then we get the best line in the JoJoLands so far. Jodio, are you still breathing? Wake up. Stick a band-aid on it or something.
Yeah, which is fucking
In
crazy.
reference, in
Walk it
reference
off.
to his slit throat. Just put a band-aid on it.
Walk it off, you fucking pussy.
Oh,
And then-
wait. There's an explanation for why the cut didn't work. Look at this. In this little thing here. Jodio, are you breathing? Wake up, stick a band-aid on it or something. And he goes, gah. And then he goes, zeh, ha, zeh, guh, go ho. And then in these panels, it makes it look like a flashback, but it's not. It's new footage. It's Jodio standing right next to Paco, right as the knife
he
is coming to slit his
transferred the
throat.
Hustle into him.
He hustled his throat so he wouldn't die.
I didn't even catch that.
I just
thought
caught it just now, guys.
I literally thought that was a flashback of
Me too.
perspective of getting stabbed. and,
This
like,
is
the illusion of it.
extremely Hamon.
Yeah.
But
The
but
Hustle-
you know what else it is? This is very Diver Down.
Oh, it
This is very
totally
Diver
is.
Down. So he can hustle other people's bodies.
That's crazy. Well, he just demonstrated his ability to transfer the hustle through the knife.
True, that is true.
But you know what's fucked up? I bet Araki didn't have the idea for him to be able to hustle other people and other things when that chapter came out. He only had it now to explain how
Yeah.
Jodio didn't get his
But
throat
the,
slashed.
but the fact that he can do this means that his stand is now exponentially more versatile.
Right, like,
Yeah.
Paco got such a glow up this chapter. Like,
I
he
am
might be, like, number one in the party now. Like, besides...
I'm really excited to see how these abilities develop.
We've seen the Hustle do more than November Rain. at this
Yeah,
point.
and more
Literally.
effectively.
November Rain has done literally just one thing,
Bro,
which is unbecoming of a JoJo stand.
can we start a thing? Can we start a thing right now? Can it start right here on the Locacacast?
Counter.
What'd you say?
the hustle ability counter.
No, I was gonna say we should all go around saying the hustle has no weaknesses.
Yes.
We should.
Yes, we can.
We should make it a
hustle has
thing.
No weaknesses.
The hustle has no weaknesses.
The hustle has no weaknesses.
We should like say it on Twitter and get other people in the JoJo community to say it. And it doesn't matter if they don't know it's not from the Locacacast, or they don't know it is, because we will know. It was all us. We were patient zero.
Us. For
The hustle has no weaknesses.
We are the number one hustlers.
But you know what? I'm doing it on Blue Sky right now.
You know what? I'm going on Twitter. Open it up.
We're all gonna start it.
We're
all
doing
gonna
it
do this
live.
right now.
The hustle has no weaknesses. Post.
The hustle has no weaknesses. Send a tweet.
I'm doing it on Mastodon as well.
Oh fuck. He's cross-platform.
Oh my god.
Oh, Casey, you saw more of that art that I retweeted.
I did.
Yes, I was retweeting a ton of mono art because I was just going through his old shit. He has a bunch more. But I mean,
the new outro song for the Locacacast be an 8-bit version of The Hustle.
we did that already?
Oh.
But I feel like this chapter...
I don't think we did we?
We did, it was the one I edited.
Okay, yes, it was. Yes, because it had the Mate Kudasai dancing to it as well.
Yes,
Oh.
yeah. But also, the cover that I used kind of sounded like shit, but it was the only one that was any good at all.
But
So-
stronger.
Maybe we need to make one. Maybe I need to make one.
Oh, maybe you could.
I was actually fucking around with this program the other day that I was making chiptune music just like in browser at work. It was just an in-browser program, and I was trying to transcribe the song "Perfect" by Rob Cantor. High in the clouds, up on a hill, you talk to the stars, they tell you to chill. I try to tell you what everyone knows. Anyway, I was doing that song, and I was doing like the piano keys, like the blim 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 blim, and I was realizing this shit's easy as fuck. I could just make chiptune music.
What we should do is like for every episode, the outro music is whoever is currently our favorite member of the crew.
Oh my god, yes!
Oh my god.
Because wait, for the first episode you did an 8-bit November Rain, right?
Yes, because that was the main character stand.
Right. And then I guess for episode 2 we did the hustle, or was that 3?
Well, for two, I believe was the one you edited.
So that must have been the hustle.
So that was the hustle.
What were the rest of them?
We went back to November Rain for the rest of them.
Okay,
'Cause
all
that
right.
was the default.
So from now on, the ending song to the episode will be whoever's our favorite member of the 4-man crew at the moment. But also, what is the Mate Kudasai? What song is that? Like,
It's a King Crimson song called the Mate Kudasai.
really?
Yes.
Well, don't play it on the podcast.
No, I'm not. I'm actually just looking up Usagi's page on JoJo Wiki.
Which translates literally to "wait, please" in Japanese.
Right.
There's no 8-bit cover.
Mate Kudasai,
Oh,
King
To
Crimson.
be fair,
song.
it's probably a very niche King Crimson song.
Yeah. I mean, we could always do something to it that makes it not get copyright claimed, besides just having an 8-bit version. You know what I mean? We could pitch it, we can put goofy sound effects over it. We can do any number of things to make it not get content
my God,
ID.
it should be like the Legend of Zelda sound font because he's dressed like Tingle,
That would be really funny.
like Majora's Mask, kind of like the weird wow 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 wow.
Well, here's the
Wonk.
thing. All I need is like there to be sheet music of it, and I can
Mhm.
make a chiptune cover. You know?
See,
Like, it's not that hard.
no.
Like, I know how to read sheet music, and now I know how to work this program. So, you know, it'll be slow going for a moment, but then once I've kind of got all the chords I'm going to need for the song transcribed, then it's just like a lot of copying and pasting until you get to the end. But I didn't complete the whole song. But for our purposes, I would only need to make like 30, 45 seconds of it. So it's possible that I could just bespoke make us one if we ever
Yes.
needed one that there wasn't an 8-bit version of.
There's sheet music for the Mate Kudasai for sax quartet, which
Hell
I'm not
yeah.
sure if that's actually the original instrumentation.
Okay, well,
Oh,
you know what? We will cross that bridge when Usagi is our favorite character for a chapter. Right now, it's
True.
Paco.
Right now, it's all about the hustle.
Dude.
This just became the hustle cast.
Yo, did you guys ever see this? Sorry. That's
It's
my
okay,
Rick.
I think It's funny.
How very Rick of you.
Yeah,
How very
sorry.
Rickish.
It's my thing. It's not my thing.
He's
Hang on.
the wrist Zach.
He's the burper. The burper of the bunch. You know him well.
He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. Dude, there was a clip from a Smash tournament where this guy is like going absolutely insane as Donkey Kong, and they're freaking out. They're like, "Oh my god, no, Vish!" Like as he keeps getting up air, and this is to close out the tournament. And then he finally gets it. He gets the kill. Donkey Kong made the comeback, and the guy is like, "Oh my god, Donkey Kong, he's the leader of the bunch." And then him and his friend at the same time say, "You know him well."
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway,
I love Donkey Kong. That's hype.
Donkey Kong is sick as fuck. All right, check this out. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys for 45 seconds, and we're gonna watch this.
This isn't gonna get us copyright ID'd, right?
Probably,
Surely not.
probably not. It's a mashup.
Oh, brother, this is a good one.
When it didn't quite work, his folks they just quit. Then Danny took a look inside of it. It was a great big flash, everything just changed. His molecules got all rearranged. When he first woke up, he realized he had snow white hair and glowing green eyes. He could walk through walls, disappear and fly. He was much more unique than the other guy, and it was then that he knew what he had to do. He had to stop while the ghosts were coming through. He had to fight for me and you.
This is an A+ combo, by the way.
I really like that Kratos was there because he's the ghost of Sparta.
I don't know anything about Kratos. I just wanted to point out this sick moment where he drops his hair and then picks it back up.
And picks it back up, and the bully from Bully the game.
Yeah. I just wanted to look at
Oh,
all the
brother.
monsters. All right, so we got
Yeah.
Gengar
Gengar.
with huge ears.
Big ear Gengar.
Stay
We've
Puft
got the,
Marshmallow Man.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
We're going through
We've
this
got,
frame by frame. We got Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Oh,
Got Ghost Freak from
Ghost
Ben
Freak
10.
from Ben 10. King Boo.
King Boo,
Napstablook
Napstablook.
from Undertale. All right, so these are all legitimate ghosts.
These are all the big ghosts. And then I swear Kratos was here.
Is that Rick and Ralph?
You got Lightning McQueen, Goku, Q Neutron, Barney the dinosaur.
Hang on.
I think
and Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
Bugs Bunny is
Okay.
here. Shrek.
I think I mistook Ghost Freak from the back as.
Oh yeah, because he got the
from
lines
God
on
of
him.
War.
Sonic is here. Barney.
Sonic is
Luigi.
there. Barney,
That would have been like an
Goku.
A+ joke
Silver.
though, to have Kratos in
Silver
there
the Hedgehog. Yeah, Kratos should have been there.
as part of
Silver
like
the
the
Hedgehog
original
is here?
lineup.
Silver is in the bottom left corner.
That's Bugs Bunny, you fool.
Oh, that's Bugs Bunny. I thought it was Silver the Hedgehog. I couldn't get a good look.
Squidward,
Sorry.
Thomas the Tank Engine, Betty Boop. Is that Optimus
Okay.
Prime over there in the
It
background?
looks like Optimus Prime.
Albert
Is that
Wesker.
Albert Wesker, yeah.
Hugh Neutron, a Power Ranger. I think that's
There's
the
the
Sheba
Shiba
dog from the
Inu,
from the
yeah.
dog ending of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
This is a moment where this guy was just like, I'm just gonna put all my models that I have.
All of my favorite characters.
Right. And like I recognize this Squidward. This is like from Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is like a GameCube ass Squidward model.
Yeah.
And then
There's
this
also just
Goku,
a-
I'm pretty sure is the
there's also
exact
just a
Goku that's in
skeleton.
the Risk of Rain mod for Goku.
There's also just a skeleton behind Goku, or behind Squidward.
It's
Is
pretty
that
good.
Peter Griffin at the bottom?
Oh my god! I didn't even fucking see him!
Oh my god, it is! He was hiding! It's
Who's
Peter
this?
Griffin.
What is this?
I cannot... Is that Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas?
It could be. I don't know.
Peter Griffin's there, dude.
Oh, and then I think that's actual Danny Phantom back there, maybe? Or is
It
that
looks
just a
like-
different
or-
Power
or-
Ranger?
I don't know.
Let me see if I can
reminds me
get a
of
better
Tag
angle
of-
on that one.
Oh, man.
No, there's no way to
that's it.
see who the
no
fuck
way.
that is.
Impossible.
All right, well, we've spent enough time on this.
And Homer Simpson.
This is a JoJo podcast, right?
This is
It was
the
at some
JoJo
point. I don't know what
It
happened
wa-
though.
It used to be. There used to be a JoJo cast here. It's
It's
gone now.
gone now.
Wait. Are you referencing what I think you are?
Silent Hill.
Oh,
There,
no.
there used to be a hole here. It's
Silent Hill
gone now.
2 specifically.
I
Yeah.
thought you were referencing the part in Kill Bill Volume 2 where Bud gets fired from his job as the strip club bouncer, where the boss is like, "You work tomorrow?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "No, you don't fucking work tomorrow. You never know when you fucking work. You work Saturday. You working Saturday? You see that? It said your name there. It used to say your name there." And he's crossing it out. And he's like,
It used
"What
to
about
say your
Sunday?
name
You work
there."
Sunday? It used to say your name there. There was your name there, but now there's not."
But now there's not.
I don't remember that part.
He says, "Let's go to the calendar. It's calendar time for Buddy."
It's calendar time for Bud.
I gotta rewatch Kill Bill at some point.
It's
Yeah.
like a moment when, like, you go into the office and this character, Bud, this is like, we're just meeting him. I mean, we met him at the beginning of the movie, but he's wearing this fucking stupid cowboy hat and he's got long hair and it's Michael Madsen. And he goes in and the boss, like, screams, like, "Tell him to get the fuck in here!" And then you go in there and the boss is, like, talking quietly and slowly and deliberately the whole time. And you're waiting for him to blow up the whole time. And he, like, never does. And it's just a weird, really good scene. Oh, yeah. He's like, "I'm late to work, but it's fine because there's nobody here." And he's like, "Okay, what's your argument? What are you trying to tell me? That you're not here doing your job because there's no job for you to do? What are you trying to convince me of? That you're as useless as an asshole right here?" And he taps himself on his elbow.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, it's a really good scene. It might be my favorite scene from Kill Bill Volume 2, and it's just a tiny little fucking nothing backstory for Bud scene. It's really good, though. You're as useless as an asshole right here.
Right here?
I saw that movie on TV once, and it was censored, and he said, "as useless as an eyeball right here." But that's
An
not that
eyeball on your-
useless.
An eyeball on your elbow would be super useful. Are you
That would be
kidding me?
fucking awesome. I don't know
You could
why they
literally
changed it to that.
You could literally see behind you.
They should have just said butthole. I don't know why they changed it
Personally,
to eyeball.
I'm tired of all these melon farming snakes not talking about this melon farming JoJo chapter.
I'm tired of all these Monday to Friday androids in this monkey fighting timeline.
These monkey fighting timeline.
That's not even from a Tarantino movie. That's just that's like 2 degrees of separation.
I don't know, dude. We're like
Well,
wildly
mine was
bouncing off the
referencing
wall here.
Mine was referencing snakes on a plane.
I know, but that's not a Tarantino movie.
No,
It
we
stars
know.
Samuel L. Jackson, but it's not a Tarantino movie.
I wasn't going for the Tarantino. I was just going for the.
Oh, I thought you were trying to
For the
segue
censor.
from Kill Bill to back to the chapter.
No, I was, but I was trying to censor it.
Wait, I just
segue
had a
through
great
the
idea.
censors
We
and
should
not
have a
through the
graphic that's in the Back to the Future font, but it says "Back to the Chapter."
How many times we say back to the chapter?
And on that
something?
terrible disappointment, back to the chapter.
All right. So the cutscene that we just all figured out of why Jodio didn't get fucking destroyed by that throat
Yes.
slash. But then it's weird because in a page, Paco is gonna say you survived because that guy's knife skills aren't good. Like he doesn't even mention that he hustled you.
Yeah.
Also, this ability has turned hustling somebody from a negative into a positive. You want to get
We
hustled
get
by
hustled.
Paco.
You want to get hustled real bad.
Well, it's a good hustle.
It's a
It's
good
a good
hustle.
It's
And
a
it's not
strong
even,
hustle.
it's his main hustle. It's not even his side hustle.
No, he does it all day.
That's the thing, though. He's got main hustles and side hustles going at the same time. That's exactly what we saw with the chair. That was a side
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah, that was a literal side hustle.
Okay, all right. So he's like, "Jodio, are you breathing? Wake up and stick a Band-Aid on it." And what's fucking funny is that he literally does stick a
The
Band-Aid
next time
on.
we see Jodio after this scene, he has a band-aid on his neck.
It's crazy. It's a crazy misdirect because we go into this chapter thinking that Jodio is going to die and that he's in mortal danger, and we leave this chapter not thinking that.
Nah, he put a band-aid on it. He's fine.
We leave this chapter thinking something else. So
Something
Jodio,
very-
get next to me. He's coming. This guy's bad news. You can be sure he's still somewhere around here. I can't see him, but he's here. Also, why? Like, you just punched him into the tables, and you haven't taken your eyes off of him, you know?
And you
Like,
lost him.
you didn't even turn around to look at
You
Jodio.
lost him in like 2 seconds.
How the fuck did you lose him? But I mean, he can be
He
invisible,
faded
I
into
guess.
the background.
He can not only be invisible, but project illusions that mess with your depth perception.
Crazy. Anyway,
Well, it looks like that all worked out just fine. Went off without a hitch.
because
And
maybe
it
a weird
always
question.
will.
Dragona, yes, every time without fail, he got Dragona and Usagi cheersing over it.
All right, this is it. This is them finally setting up that it actually is a rock human. Is this guy even human? He's got to be human, but his skin is kind of like sand.
I really like the disclaimer in the bottom right corner.
I was
of
gonna
the
say
panel.
that. Casey, you and I are on like the same frequency today.
Be sure not to drink until age 20.
Yeah, it's crazy how we thought, like, we were like, oh man, last chapter when the diamond store, the watch store thing kind of resolved itself, we were like, oh, bummer. We wanted these two fights to be like happening at the same time, but like one is actually wrapping up and getting resolved while the other is just starting. Like I wanted them to crash together.
And they do.
And
I
they
actually
do.
like the way that not only just even in the context of the last chapter alone, I liked that the context of the watch plotline
Mm-hmm.
was that we got to discover more about the mechanics of the lava rock, and then that comes into play here during this fight when the two parties introduce, get acquainted into the fold here. But also
But
be sure
now-
not to drink until age 20.
But
Big
now,
note.
like as we see, like it's different. It's different in that, like, instead of having two fights going on at the same time, we have the whole cast is part of this one fight, except two of them are like actively not paying any attention to it.
Well, yeah, they're completely unaware. They had no idea. They literally just walked into the fight.
Man, it's coming down hard outside. It's real fucking rainy here. Anyway, sorry, I'm trying to go back and figure out, because last episode, I believe we were talking about, how long ago, when did Paco get replaced by Imposter Paco?
It was when he walked away to go get the food.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been Imposter Paco for the entirety of Chapter 9. The real Paco
Yeah.
was gone that whole time. So
And it's interesting because his first resort was to try to talk Jodio out of handing over the lava rock and the diamond. He didn't want to resort to violence, but now that that's his only alternative, he has committed to it.
We've tried nothing and we're all out of options.
Yeah, exactly. Time for plan B.
right.
I'm going to kill you.
So Paco has been Imposter Paco since this page here. No, hang on. Right here, he goes and walks away. No, was he already Imposter Paco then? Jesus, I don't even know.
That's the thing, isn't it, huh?
No,
I
mean,
also really like the recontextualization of in chapter 9 him being like, well, we have to remember whoever gave us this bag with the cat's head on it is probably the enemy stand user. But then you think about it, Imposter Paco is the one who came up with the bags of the cat heads.
Yeah, we were talking about this last episode. Chris and I, we were going over the exact sequence of events because it was actually kind of weird. But the thing is, when Paco says, how about we chow down on some chicken burritos over there? That moment is the last time we see normal Paco. Because then, the next time we see Paco... Hang on a second. My fucking left-right page thing is fucked up. No, hang on. Right, so when Paco comes back and he's like, the chickens they raise on the island of Hawaii are so tasty because they raise them in the mountains. Jodio reaches into the bag and he immediately recoils in horror from it and starts looking around all crazy. And then Paco is like, what the fuck? And then he's like, this is a warning. There was someone the cat's owner, they're here to take back the lava rock. And then Paco looks in the bag and finds the cat heads. And then that ends the chapter.
Right.
And he's like, oh, wow, gross, disgusting, that's crazy. So the chapter ends with them having discovered the cat heads. And they're standing there like, oh, shit, what's going on?
I likened it to Eric Andre shooting Hannibal and then asking who shot Hannibal.
Yeah, who shot Hannibal? You know what would be even crazier? Is if the cat heads were also part of the illusion, and then the cats come back for round 3.
Oh my god, please no.
What if this whole fight so far has just been an illusion? What if we're still in the hole?
What if it was all the cats? This guy's just made out of string.
Okay, so the next chapter begins immediately with the phone call from Jodio's mom. And it's funny because her design looks completely fucking different from the first chapter, but fine, who cares?
Of course.
He's like, what do we want to eat for dinner? I don't know, who cares? And then she says, fine, how about chicken burritos? And then he looks at the bag. But he's answering this phone call right when he's mid, like, standing back to back with Paco. They ended the last chapter, like, about to go stand back to back, and they start this chapter doing it. So this is the same Paco as just a moment ago. He came back with the food, and then they started standing back to back. At this point, the whole fucking chapter goes by, and then right at the very end, the Paco he's standing back to back with is revealed to be the imposter. So, Paco has been the imposter since the cat head thing. He showed up with the food, he had the bag with the cat heads in it. So this entire chapter, everything that they say, everything that he says, he's saying to the wrong Paco. So I just wanted to go back through and comb real quick for, like, what information has he given away? Which one handed the package to you? Da-da-da-da-da. It's like something the Mafia would do. They're making a threat here. The lava rock. No, he's asking too many questions. He needs to... If we don't give this person back the lava rock, we're done for. Yeah, that's exactly what you were saying earlier. He's behaving in such a way. He says, it's too much for us to handle at this point. We should just give it back. His initial plan is to just show up disguised and fool them into giving over the lava rock without much of a fight.
And then all that fails, and then he's like, oh, well, diplomacy has failed.
Indeed.
Well, can't get the pacifist ending. Guess
Nope.
it's time to kill everyone.
Yes, it's time to start that genocide run.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what he said. Because I feel like he gave... No, I guess I'm just stupid. I thought he was talking with that Paco about the fucking jewelry store thing and them going in there and the watch. So that this person would know later about the watch and would then use that. But I guess, they're invisible. They could have just been cloaked and listening to them once they came out of the watch shop. I kind of thought Jodio let it slip to imposter Paco when he thought he was real Paco. But I was not correct. Sorry that wasted so much of everybody's time.
Says is that, no, it's okay. You didn't waste any time. I think the most Jodio says is just like, no, the two of them, we have to wait for them to get out of the watch store.
Yeah. But it's interesting. Jodio starts being...
also when they come back out of the watch store, they're openly talking about how they worked on the luxury watches.
Loud,
so
yeah.
He's like he's around here listening.
He is in
this
ear
whole conversation.
And I mean, Usagi is screaming, "This lava rock is freaking amazing! You can bet we won't lose that $6 million diamond either."
They are so adorable. I love Dracona and Usagi.
Yeah.
I love their expression work. It's so good.
Yeah, I love that Usagi showed up so ugly in the first chapter, and then immediately they just made him cute.
He just immediately got a glow up. He got the hustle. He got hustled.
He's adorable.
Paco
Maybe, do you think...
him off screen, and then he got handsome. Like
now that we know a lot more about the hustle and how it works, do you think Paco hustled himself skinny?
Maybe. Honestly,
I think it might actually be that, like, when he
activated it, like increased his muscle mass.
or maybe like he found out that like it only works on his. No, that doesn't make sense. Because I was thinking like maybe it doesn't work. It doesn't work if there's fat in the way. So he worked out so he get better use out of it.
That would be a really interesting angle because you're manipulating the muscles. If there's layers of fat in the way, you can't like manipulate those.
But the issue is we've now seen him pass the hustle through objects.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be true. Well, either way, it still could have given him better control over his stand if he got ripped. But yeah.
Yeah, given the mechanics of it, I would imagine so.
Paco is my favorite fucking character in the main crew now. This is awesome.
Yeah, okay. The bit with the flashback actually really solidified it because I did not catch that until just now.
Mm-hmm.
Where he hustled Jodio's neck. That's cool. That's awesome.
It's fucking wild. He's suddenly, just this chapter has taken him from like, okay, sort of like grappler character to like, this guy is diver down and he's got him on, you know what I mean? Like he's both the best defense and best offense on the team all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now a fight is going to be exciting and scary and tense if we don't have Paco.
If we don't have Paco.
Anyway.
He also is the oldest of the group too, so
he's
is
19,
like
yeah.
Big brother, yeah. And this is the hustle part 1. Is the chapter.
So we're gonna get more hustle.
We're gonna get more hustle. More hustle is to come.
Hell
Never
yeah.
stop hustling.
What's the end game Paco gonna be like? Is
That's
he like?
what I'm wondering. I have no idea.
Is he gonna find a way to like use the hustle range capacity?
Yeah. I had a really.
He's gonna be like Weather Report, and his stand is just gonna go absolutely cracked and start hustling everyone on the planet.
It just hustles everyone.
Hustle the planet.
Hustle Requiem.
And everyone's just like.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna punch the ground, and the Earth is gonna start hustling.
The very planet itself begins to hustle.
Yeah. I had a dumb idea that what if the arrows on his arms, he could extend them out like Spider-Man webs and hustle things from a distance like that.
That's
like
crazy.
Could just shoot arrows out.
I don't think we've ever had a character in JoJo who has like living tattoos. Has that been a thing?
Other than like Tattoo You, I don't think.
Well, Tattoo You wasn't like the tattoos were alive. It was that they teleport through the tattoos.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's the only tattoo stand.
All right, so next page. Shut it! Quit running your mouths. He's gonna strike at any second. Dragona, we're under attack right now. I literally can't get over that he just has a band-aid on his neck.
He has a band-aid on his neck. Oh god, I love that Jodio. I mean, just everyone in the crew really. This early on, we are seeing that they are frail. They are getting their asses beat, which is what I like implied a couple hours ago now, I guess, where I was just like, have we ever seen the JoJo crew getting their like just asses handed to them this early on? Has it ever gone from this 0 to 100? Jorno or Jodio's getting his neck slit on chapter 10. What is Endgame, the JoJoLands fight, going to look like?
I mean, we've had a couple moments already in the story so far where it's looked like a party wipe.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to reload a save.
The cats got all of us in the tree and Usagi ran away.
I like Zach. By the way, I like what you did, where like you put a little David Hayter into Jodio's voice because he's got the
I didn't even notice I was doing it. I didn't even notice it was David Hayter. I was definitely doing a little bit of a voice because his throat's fucked up. But I'm glad you are comparing it to someone good.
Someone good.
I don't know if I can do it again. It'll be bad now. I wasn't intending it to be
somebody who knows even more about us than the Lava Rock.
Knows even more than us about the Lava Rock. The Mafia. That's what the guy said when he transformed himself to look like Paco.
You must be one of those mafia guys.
Hey, I wanted to share this with you guys. Did I tell you about this on a previous thing? I want to do, because I was just talking about how I don't like AI. However, I think AI voices are funny. When somebody makes like the fucking videos on YouTube that are just like weird little stories.
I think when Donald Trump and Joe Biden are arguing about Pokemon VGC
or fucking playing Minecraft.
or playing Minecraft, yeah, I think that's a fine use of
That's
AI
funny,
technology.
and I think I posted something about this where I was like, all of our most
I was
hated
showing-
celebrities, politicians, and public figures become like my sweet little
Yes.
boys who play video games together.
Zach,
You know what I mean?
You and I
was
you and I
showing-
specifically had a conversation about that the AI character of Donald Trump is incredibly likable, and I love him.
Right. Like,
But-
if he
but
was
I
just a
still have
gamer
my
kid.
yeah. But I still have my same disdain for the real person.
Right.
But it's a
Well-
separate entity because he's not real. He's just funny and he yells about Minecraft.
It's very funny. He's your asshole friend you played Minecraft with.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to think about someone like the president you don't like as your asshole friend you used to play Minecraft with. You know, and realize that we are all the same guy, and it's just like being a grown-up is exactly the same as being a kid. You know what I mean? There's a thing to it. Chris, what were you trying to say? You've been trying to get a word in edgewise for a minute.
I was showing you, Zach, that Yimfa video, which was also AI voices for the Top Gear boys.
Oh yeah, God, that was crazy. But it was a perfectly done mix of like AI for stuff that
And,
couldn't
like,
be
the-
generated, or sorry, that
and,
couldn't be
and-
clipped, and clips for everything else.
And the perfect scripting that
Oh,
made
yeah.
it actually seem like an actual Top Gear special.
It was incredible. They were doing Dark Souls 2. It was fucking wild. Anyway, but the thing I wanted to talk about with AI voices is that I want to do an AI voice dub for the JOJOLands.
Oh boy.
And my reasoning for this, my initial casting was that Jodio should be Mr. Krabs. That was the very first thing I
Sure.
came up with. Like, this is the story of me getting filthy rich.
We're under attack right now.
I know. So Jodio as Mr. Krabs. Now, I had some really good ideas for the rest of these. Let me just get them out.
Oh boy.
Okay, so JOJOLands AI voice dub cast. So Jodio, and then I was like, God damn it, I can't remember Mr. Krabs. So I wrote down a bunch of other ones. Edward Norton, Aaron Paul's Jesse Pinkman. Jodio could be 50 Cent. He could be Samuel L. Jackson. He could be Bruce Lee. And then I was like, I swear I had a genius idea for this. That's what sparked the whole thing. Oh my God, it was Mr. Krabs. Fuck, Mr. Krabs is perfect. Dragona is going to be Eminem. Paco is going to be Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay, but
Oh my God.
so Dragona's gonna be rapping all of their lines.
No.
Oh,
She's just going to be speaking in. Okay,
In a rhythmic-
I followed this guy. Okay, all right. We need to do a little intermission here. Are you guys fucking ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I was born ready.
Oh, is this gonna be the same thing you showed?
Have I shown this to you before?
Eminem. I think you've showed this to me.
Well, I'm gonna need to
Casey.
show it to Casey, and this is the whole. This is it. Oh,
Eminem
what the
this
fuck?
might
buys
also
a new-
be
Eminem
This
buys a
might
new
also
car.
be a copyright trap.
Oh, come on. We'll be fine.
Huh,
We've gotten ourselves out of stickier situations.
man, where the fuck did the original go? Hang on. No, this isn't the whole video. Where the fuck is it? God damn. Okay, hang on one moment here. Just give me 2 seconds.
I like the sound of the typing.
Why the fuck?
Really adds to it.
Okay, I guess we gotta watch the animated version. I mean, this is stupid. Where's the fucking original video?
After running over a mattress on purpose.
This isn't the whole video. Why am I getting Mandela affected right now? Okay, I guess we're gonna have to fucking watch the
I
animatic.
fucked my car up after running over a mattress on purpose, so it was time to get a new car. I traveled 7 miles by foot to the nearest dealership and walked my white ass up to the counter and asked for their best deal. They took one look at me and knew that I was full of shit instantly, that I was not to be taken seriously as a customer. But it seemed they were still willing to hook me up, and I trusted them because the guys who worked there were all jocks like me. And if you are a nerd, then that's just something you'll never understand. They blindfolded me and drove me someplace for 20 minutes and told me to get the fuck out of the car. They coaxed me deep into a wooded area by jabbing me with a spike, even though I was fine to just keep walking without the spike. They took off my blindfold and I saw the worst car I could have possibly imagined. It was all fucked up, there were no windows, smelled like post-sun, and it was covered in pictures of mutilated fetuses because it was once used at abortion protest or something. But other than all of that, it was pretty good. The dealers made me sign some papers and cut off one of my ears, and I was good to go. I thrusted my feet through the floor of the vehicle and started her up by running my legs like Fred Flintstone. It was instantly clear to me that I had been fooled into purchasing a fucking caveman's car. I was only on the road for 10 seconds before getting all of that. A very small man, wearing nothing but denim overalls, was trying to get my attention. Call Sups and I'm going to kick your ass until you get a better one, he said. Well, now I gotta pull over into this box, this confirm it's a parking lot, and get my head kicked by this guy. I guess just then it occurred to me that I had planned a romantic date in that very same parking lot. Now, I know this sounds like one of the fun classic premises, like a wacky situation you would see in a sitcom, but the actual events of that day were very sad. I told the man to hurry up and kick my ass so I could lose the fight as quickly as possible. I promised not to fight back. He took that opportunity to punch the weakest part of my head, the mouth, until he got bored and left. But my teeth were fucked. I had a big amount of blood coming out of my jowls. My wife asked what happened, and I said shut the fuck up. There's no way she could understand the words I was saying in that state. I slumped up against the car and let her attempt to jack off my limp penis while I lay there like a sack of shit. The next day I ejected the cussing car into a reservoir.
Alright, well that's it. I just realized the people didn't get to see that, but they got to hear it, which is all that really matters.
They got to hear.
Well,
they
that
got to
wasn't the
hear it.
fucking video that I had seen. The one I've seen is
my
just pictures of Eminem and it has subtitles.
That's so funny.
The only ones I could
though.
find on YouTube were the first minute, so it ends it. I had been fooled into purchasing a fucking caveman's car.
I've been fooled into purchase. I love
So based on that,
I love how
I'm
articulate.
fairly certain, actually, Zach, that like he did post that in our message, like message back and forth.
oh man,
But I don't know. It
I may be
seems
able to find
weird.
it later. It might just be unlisted. I don't know why, but it's like still online, but I can only find the first minute of it. Like it's 2 minutes long. Why is it? I don't fucking know.
Jack off my limp penis.
And also,
Oh,
like,
boy.
my wife asked what happened, so I said, shut the fuck up. That's a perfect Eminem bar. That's incredible.
So I said, shut the fuck up.
Anyway, so Dragona
Oh.
is going to be Eminem. Based off of that Eminem thing, a whole
God.
cinematic universe of Eminem getting into weird and wacky situations with that AI voice just continued for, like, ever. And there's,
Yeah.
like, a whole expanded universe. He meets a pigeon named Bertha who becomes his navigator because he doesn't have GPS in his Fred Flintstone car. But it's weird, like, they latch onto certain parts of the lore, like getting punched in the weakest part of your head, the mouth, even though I was fine to keep going without the spike, that always comes back. But, like, they forget that he ejected the cursed car into a reservoir at the end of the thing. He doesn't have the Flintstones
cursed
car
car.
anymore. So,
Oh.
I don't know. But there was a
Like-
whole cinematic universe of, like, you know how you like Sethical, Merc? This was that
Yeah.
for me. It was just, like, the weird characters interacting with each other. And so... Dragona is Eminem. All of that was to say Dragona
All
is
that
Eminem.
to say.
Paco is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
And then Usagi, I don't really know. I have no clue. I mean, I thought Usagi's voice should be, just to balance out Mr. Krabs, Eminem, and Macho Man Randy Savage, Usagi's voice should be just, like, ridiculously cute. Like, sickeningly so. It should be like Penny Parker or Diva from Overwatch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, the only other lady-ish in the
be,
party is Dragona, and Dragona's going to be voiced by Eminem.
He should sound like he would say "ooh woo."
Yeah,
should be a-
exactly.
He should be Astolfo from the Fate series.
What? I don't even know.
You know,
I know Stalfos
you know-
from Zelda. I don't know Fate.
no.
Oh,
Astolfo.
Astolfo!
Astolfo.
All right, I'll write that down. What's the
By
other?
the way, your stream is still open.
Oh,
Zach.
oops, sorry. What's the? Yeah, no, I know who that is.
Yeah.
What's
You
the
should be
other?
Astolfo.
What's the other fate?
You should be the Astolfo plushie that called me gay.
What's the other fate character that everyone wants to fuck? The cat boy.
That's not a Fate character. He's from ReZero. That's Felix.
Dude, I forgot that ReZero existed, and that's perfectly
Astolfo
okay.
Being plushie that sucks your dick and calls you gay.
Man, ReZero, what a fucking thing. I don't know anything about it, and I forgot it existed at all
I
until
don't
right
know
now.
anything about it either, but I remembered that Felix was a character in it.
Of course you remembered Felix was a character.
Okay, all right. This is just a moment where we gotta remember that we are
We still
privileged to
have,
be
like,
fans of good anime and good manga.
Yeah, and we still have a good chapter ahead of us.
Oh god.
Oh goodness.
We have oh god,
and it
yeah.
always will be.
We're
And
not
it always will be.
we're not moving through this very fast.
No, we are not. Decidedly not.
Anyway,
Anywho.
the guy's not mafia.
God,
He was
we're
just
we're 2 hours and 40 minutes in.
and we're half of the pages.
Listen.
The guy's
We'll
not
just-
mafia. He was just blowing smoke to try and scare us and back us into a corner. If he was a real mafioso or a pro knife user, you wouldn't have gotten away with just that graze on your neck. His knife skills ain't up to snuff. Not for an assassin, anyhow, but still. Also, that's a weird thing for him to say. It's weird that he doesn't say, by the way, I hustled you, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, it makes it really easy to just go through the chapter not noticing that hustle thing ever happened.
It really
Well,
does.
it seems like that seems like an Abakio thing, where he's like, hiding his stand's true potential.
Oh. Perhaps. Perschnaps. Maybe.
For snap.
Perschnaps. Anyways, knife skills ain't up to snuff. Not for an assassin, anyhow, but still. Also, wild thing for him to say.
I was gonna say, also, what do you know about assassins, Paco?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like he said that Paco is 19 and he's still in high school and he took a year off, but he said, I'm pretty sure he didn't go to school abroad or anything like that.
Where the fuck did this man go to school?
I went to the assassin college.
I went to the assassin college. He should be Arnold. Should he be Macho Man Randy Savage or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh god, those are both really good options.
I'm gonna write it down.
Arnold would be amazing.
Arnie would be good.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have to insert ooh yeahs into his dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Ooh yeah.
Give him one oh yeah as Arnold though.
I'll try.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Da-da-da-da-da.
As long as you
That guy's body, there's something nutty going on with it. It fused his form with the
Also-
friggin' clouds.
I don't know if we've ever pointed this out, but Paco has his own name written on his chest piece in an ice cream cone.
And on his cock. On his belt.
Oh yeah. Oh. You had me going there for a second. I was like, what do you mean by that?
It's on his belt. It's in his cock region.
What do you mean by that?
You'll have to be more precise.
Well, are you familiar with No Love Deep Web?
Well, that's for a podcast on another day.
That's a Death Grips joke. Alright. This enemy, it should be a stand ability, but I don't know how to describe it. This guy, what's his deal? Are we going to be able to get the plane and get home? I'd rather not have to stay overnight on Hawaii. Thank you very much. And then the lady comes out with the fucking watch. And they're like, no way. They just came out the watch shop. And then blah-de-blah-de-blah. She's got the watch on her wrist. Dragona is pissed. Dragona's very fixated on the watch. But Usagi's actually being smart as fuck.
Yeah. I like that he is the brains. He's consistently just like the streetwise guy.
Yeah. I mean, he knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Also, I love their little pose there where he's like leaning back and like looks like he's just levitating behind the Dragona there.
He's her stand.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, it happened due to the causes on
Well, he's doing the Dio lean.
A little bit, yeah.
Lean.
I like his pose from the page before where he's doing the classic. He's doing half a Killer Queen.
Oh yeah, sure. Or the half the torture dance.
Yeah, it's half a torture dance. Whoa, he is doing the torture dance. Look at his.
Yeah. He's leaning into it.
Oh my god, he is. He's doing multiple moves from it. He's got the the arms crossed.
Yeah.
The-
He's
I mean-
leaning with it. He's rocking with it.
He needs to bring his arms up and then back down, straight out, and then cross them again.
Yeah. No, they'll save that after they have this guy subdued and they need to get information out of him.
Man, I miss Josuke consciously posing.
Yeah.
You remember in part 8, where during the beginning of the part, he would be like in Shakedown Road, he's like, I've won completely when they're tackling him. And then he gets up and he's like, let me say it again properly. And he strikes a pose and he says, I've won completely.
Completely.
Like, that was sick. And I just miss, like, I wish, I don't know. I like all the poses, but I really liked that feeling that it was a part of the character's personality, that they were striking a pose on purpose.
I like that a lot of early Josuke things that felt like his personality, that he was just kind of weird.
Here's the thing that I have as a big criticism of Araki, and you must have heard other people say this before, but it's that Araki oftentimes will start off his characters with like a very distinct personality, and then as time goes on, they sort of all converge to the same personality, stoic main character guy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, by the end of part 8, he was just acting like Jotaro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, not like Jotaro, because he was still like, I don't know, but he was not silly in the slightest anymore. There was no trace of his early personality left.
No, exactly. Like there's a distinct point, and I can't even really place my finger on where it starts, or if it's abrupt, or if he eases into it, that he just kind of loses all the weirdo freak shit that he does. Like, he doesn't sleep under covered blanket, or under, like, weighted blankets or mattresses. He had, like, even in his first introduction chapter, Josuke is walking through the hospital, and he's just pointing out the weirdest things, like, oh, that's the sound of this bird, and based on the echoes of its cries, it's probably 10 yards away from me. And it's like, his memory is, like, so spotty and weird, and he just knows trivia, and he likes to feel pressure while he's asleep, and he's just this weird guy.
He doesn't know how to eat.
No, yeah, I had never noticed that before, Zach. But you're right. All of his hot-blooded protagonists do become more stoic at the end.
Right. Like,
The only one who really doesn't is Joseph.
I was gonna say, Joseph remains his same self. Like, Jotaro,
Joseph
at the
is
beginning...
silly. Last moment of his fight with cars.
Like,
And
Jotaro is pretty consistent, but that's only because he's the one that they all converge to in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Joseph sort of became like a stoic protagonist during his fight with Wham.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for sure.
It,
I mean,
But
he
there
was
was-
still fucking around, though.
he was still absolutely,
He
yeah.
was still doing Josephy things, you know? I'm talking about the character's original weirdness being, like, abandoned.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Like, even old Joseph, every time he shows up subsequently, you can still tell that that's the same character.
And
He's
here's the
just
thing.
older.
It's not a problem with Jolene, because we like that. We like seeing her turn into Jotaro. Like, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So it's not at
And
all a problem there.
And she earns it, too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I think Jotaro actually became goofier in part 4,
Oh, absolutely.
and then he went back to being stoic in part 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is Jotaro, and it's my favorite thing about him. He's only like that on the surface, and if you, even in part 3, if you take a fine-tooth comb to the things that Jotaro does and says, he is goofy as shit.
Example.
Jotaro is the goofiest JoJo of them all, and nobody talks about it. He will reference Columbo and sumo wrestling and cowboy movies, and in his first, like, big epic, like, I'm gonna lay down the law, this is my, you know, my stand will be the judge speech, he opens it up by talking about how what a badass he is, because he beats up teachers, he gets into fights at school, and if he doesn't like the food at a restaurant, he leaves without paying.
Oh my
It's-
god.
And that
It's-
makes him
it's
such a
Iraqi
bad boy.
It's Iraqi writing what he thinks a badass is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is
It's Jotaro. It's Araki's perspective of what Jotaro's perspective of like the makings of a hard ass.
I
Like,
don't
this
think
makes
Jotaro
me
would do
so-
that now, though. You know what I mean? I think that's an example of like Araki's characters have these weird idiosyncrasies that get flattened out over time.
Well, that's
And
the other thing.
sometimes you
Jotaro-
can say, well, that's character
Jotaro-
development. Sometimes it's like not explainable
think
so
it-
easily.
I think
But
in
also-
Jotaro, it's absolutely character development and him growing up
Yeah.
because he didn't even smoke cigarettes in parts 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah,
also,
God, I
you-
forgot
also
about
you have
that.
to-
He only did
so
it in
actually,
Resident
there's
Evil.
also you could say that Jotaro's true personality, and I'm using air quotes here, is based on like what Araki finds cool, but then his persona is based on Clint Eastwood actually,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that like he has said this.
Yeah.
100%, yeah. Which is
Sorry.
weird to think that Jotaro, of all the JoJos, is the most like a Western protagonist. You know what I mean? Just like the idea of the big buff Japanese kid who couldn't look anything far like remotely like Clint Eastwood has the most cowboyish attitude.
I'm trying to figure out when was the last time Jotaro smoked a cigarette.
Well, it's not really the cowboy thing. It's like the gruff Western
Well, yeah, of course.
action hard boiled movie protagonist.
Yeah, man of few words, you know, gets business done, doesn't take shit from anybody, man, women, whatever. Children.
But it's crazy because you remember the thing at the beginning of the Part 3 anime where it does like that flashback and it shows like a younger Jotaro and he's like, "Mom, I love you." And then
Yeah.
like it gives you the impression that he just all of a sudden turned on a dime. That doesn't really vibe with what he says about himself, which is like, I'm like this and I've always been like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the thing
Well,
is,
also, you can
when
still sell-
when
you can
Darby,
still tell-
not Darby, when fucking Alessi turns him into a kid, he's like, "Well, I've always been a badass, so I don't even give a shit. I'll just beat you up as a
Yeah.
child."
as a child, it made
But
him stronger.
That doesn't really jive with the thing we see at the very beginning.
No, Jotaro's just weird.
Add it to one of those like never seen again things.
Yeah, Jotaro's
Jotaro's childhood.
Jotaro's rarest ability, his childhood, his past. The time that he doesn't want to remember.
I'm trying to find out when the last time Jotaro smoked a cigarette was. Like, what was the final cigarette?
Wasn't that in? Oh no, wait, because that was Boingo
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be once they're already in.
or Oingo. Oingo is the
Oingo is
elder
the-
brother.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Oingo is the Oinger brother. It's been a long day.
Well, he is the Oinger brother.
He is the Oinger of the Boingo twins. The Oingo Boingos. I hope they're like the Oingo Boingo brothers have a Mario and Luigi situation where it's Mario and Luigi Mario. It's like Oingo Boingo and Boingo Boingo.
I thought you were gonna say, I hope the Oingo Boingo brothers have Wah counterparts.
Oh my god! That'd be awesome.
Wah Oingo and Wah Boingo.
And Waboingo.
Oh, I thought you said law counterparts, like they're lawyers, like Oingo and Boingo, like
Lawyers.
Hamlin,
attorneys at law.
McGill.
Yeah. Oh my god. Play the Better Call Saul theme.
I don't have that.
Uh-oh.
Close,
Close enough.
close enough. We'll take it.
Close enough.
We'll add,
Hey,
we'll
so
add that one to the soundboard next.
Stardust Crusaders, if you guys can think of any way I'm wrong about this, please let me know. But I believe the final cigarette that Jotaro has is in the Darby the Gambler fight.
Oh right, yes, that would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be
Because-
the last chance he gets to smoke one in part 3.
After that, like, so Darby the Gambler, Whole Horse and Boingo, the Gatekeeper of Hell Pet Shop, which doesn't have Jotaro in it,
Doesn't
Darby
have
the
to.
Player, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't smoke a cigarette in,
I don't think think so.
Miasma of the Void, Vanilla Ice, which doesn't have Jotaro, and then Dio's World, which I know he definitely doesn't smoke a cigarette in.
Can you imagine though? He's like,
That would
"Hold
be
on,
fucking
Dio."
rad. If the moment when they're walking towards each other, he just lights a cigarette and puts it in his mouth.
He's like, "You know, got a light." Ugh.
Incredible.
Cool.
He should have had
Well,
Star
like,
Platinum snap its
if-
fingers.
I was
If
gonna
he had-
say he should have
If,
used
if,
Star
he had, if
Platinum.
he had lit up a cigarette during that fight, he could have used it in the fight.
Oh yeah,
Could've
for
died.
sure. I mean, just to
It's
tell when
so
time
good.
stops are happening, or as like a thing, or what?
I was thinking like his general like blinding projectile.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about Dyer spitting the rose into Dio's eyeball.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so I don't think any time after this, and then in part 4 and part 5, he doesn't smoke anymore, and in part 6, I believe he comments that he doesn't smoke.
Yeah,
Doesn't he say that at some point when he's in the waiting room with Jolene?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
There's like a lit cigarette on the table, and he's like, I quit smoking, though. That's not mine.
He says I think he does mention something about his lungs. I can't remember though. I might be making that up.
Let me see. Or, I mean, we should just get back to the fucking chapter. It's almost 3 hours of podcast now. We gotta finish this shit.
Okay.
I don't even know what got us on this tangent.
I don't know either, but it's fun. I don't dislike it.
I also don't dislike it.
Okay, so, guys, let's go back to the car. We're at a disadvantage in an open place like this. He's going to come at us with some sort of trick. It might be a good idea. Let's get back to the car and floor it. We'll lure him to the car and do him in.
Oh, I'm sorry. In my research, I found an article that says JoJo, the top 15 worst things Jotaro ever did.
Oh, boy. Wait. Stop the world. Read that to me right now.
Oh boy.
You don't have
Courtesy
to
of-
read the explanations, but just what are the numbers on the
Yeah.
list?
Let's see. Okay, I have to turn off my ad blocker.
Is this one of those shitty websites? Is this one of
Yes,
those?
this is comicbookreview.com.
This is machine generated for sure.
Basically.
Oh no.
Jotaro isn't the nicest JoJo, but he gets the job done. He could, however, be a little nicer when he does. Okay, let's just see. Okay, Wait a minute, this is the 15 worst things he ever did ranked, and it starts at number 16.
Okay, there's a runner-up. That's fine. Go.
There's a runner-up. The runner-up is he chooses marine biology over family and friends.
All right, whatever. It's not actually marine biology. I mean, I'm pretty sure he does that, but he also, like, he's going around doing Speedwagon Foundation stuff.
Yeah. 15. He dines in ditches at restaurants.
I forgot about that, but yeah, go ahead, next.
14. He's responsible for Jolene's endangerment from Poochie. I mean, I guess by having Jolene.
He tried.
He tried his best. He really did.
Dude, Poochie didn't even want Jolene. He just wanted Jotaro. She wasn't in
He just wanted
danger
Jotaro.
until
Yeah.
she chose to try and help.
Number 13. He surrenders to the mercy of some rats.
Of what?
He surrenders to the mercy of some rats.
He gets beat by some rats. I actually think that's why JoJo is so cool, because you can have Jotaro realistically beat Dio, the strongest stand user ever, and then still get his shit rocked by a couple rats.
The rat that learned trigonometry.
It's incredible.
12. He leaves
Those
Jolene.
those were some dangerous rats,
Those
man.
were
They
some
were.
powerful rats. They adapted to the world.
A powerful rat named Charles Entertainment Cheese.
World Entertainment Cheese. They figured out the secret of the world faster than Jotaro did.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, number 12. He leaves Jolene and her mother uneducated on stands.
Well, yeah, he could have told him, but
It seems that both 11 and 12 are combined into one. He beats up innocent civilians because he thinks they're stand users.
when does that happen?
During the Wheel of during the Wheel of Fortune arc, the Stardust Crusaders find themselves.
Are we
pursued
sure
by
that's not
murderers.
Giorno?
Yeah, are we sure? When they make a pit stop for some refreshments, they notice a car parked nearby and 3 suspicious-looking guys, each of whom might be the stand user. Without a surefire way to determine who the stand user is, Jotaro decides that the best way is to beat up all 3 guys. Luckily, Kekyoin stopped him before things progressed any further. Number 9.
So you're telling me that scene in part 5 was just Araki doing the scene that Jotaro proposed in part 3?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's a real if we steal 100 cars moment. You know what I mean? Like, let's just beat up everyone, and one of them will be the stand user.
Oh, I'm talking about the.
No, I know.
They beat up.
When Abakio sips his wine and joins in, I know exactly what you're talking about. But part 5 and that moment brought up this other moment in my mind, that if we steal 100 cars. Jotaro is like doing that. He's like, let's just beat everyone's ass, and one of them will have to be the stand user.
The 9th worst thing Jotaro has done is he ends up arrested and in jail. Number 8, he uses Iggy as a projectile at Endul.
Because as we know, the police would never arrest someone innocent.
Well,
They would never do that.
He did fight a bunch of guys and like crush their balls and stuff, I'm pretty sure, but...
Number 7, he threatens a child who he confuses for Polnareff. Jotaro, I just like, this is the first sentence. It's not a comma. The first sentence is just, Jotaro is usually very perceptive.
I don't even remember this one, but just go ahead. Go to the next one.
Number 6, he recklessly gambles the souls of his family and friends.
Oh, dude, like, that had to happen!
There he is lighting the cigarette. That's so cool.
Sick.
Number 5, he allows his stand to stagnate.
Okay, well that's honestly, like, not even... That's like a stand stats thing?
That shouldn't even be on the list.
That should not be on. That's like a fan... That's like a Reddit thing. Like, why did his stats get
Jotaro's
worse?
fault, yeah.
Why can he stop time for 5 seconds and then only half a second?
He
but
doesn't
then
need
only...
to stop time no more.
Well,
Number
I mean...
4.
I just think he was a little out of practice, and his first time doing it in a long time only resulted in a half-second time stop.
Audacity's starting to act up for me. I'm probably going to have to stop my personal recording here.
That's okay. We got most of it anyway.
Number 4. He sends Koichi on a dangerous mission with minimal details.
Oh my god, dude! He literally just says, go check this guy out. Just observe him from a distance. Don't interact with him.
No, you're gonna love this one.
Okay.
Number 3. He saves Joseph, but doesn't give Josuke's grandfather the same respect.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Can't save your grandpa. He's not as cool as mine.
No, stop. Literally, what do you fucking mean? There's no Dio blood around to put into Grandpa.
I'll read what they say. During the climactic battle against Dio and Stardust Crusaders, Joseph suffers a fatal blow from Dio before having all his blood drained by the vampire. It's heart-wrenching watching Joseph's ghost say goodbye to Jotaro, but after Dio's defeat, Jotaro has the Speedwagon Foundation transfuse blood into Joseph's body, then uses Star Platinum to restart Joseph's heart. Despite a poorly timed prank, Joseph has been brought back to life. Fast forward to Diamond is Unbreakable when Angelo's stand, Aqua Necklace, kills Josuke's grandfather out of revenge. Josuke uses his stand to heal his grandfather's injury, but it seems too late. His grandfather is dead. Jotaro explains to Josuke that the dead can't be brought back to life. Guess Jotaro forgot that he brought his own grandfather back from the dead.
Bro, that's exactly like the... Do you remember the Aeon Star video we watched with the... Ignore that, ignore that, ignore that, ignore that.
Ignore that, ignore that. Number
Stands
2,
cannot bring people back to life. Ignore that.
He's needlessly disrespectful towards his mother.
You know what? That one should be number 1, and that's the only one I support being on the list.
The number 1 is that he was an absentee father for decades.
Okay, listen, that's literally the same thing as like 4 other items on this list. Is like him.
Decades.
All of those should have been consolidated into one.
You can't have a separate entry for he prioritized marine biology over his family. He
was
prioritized
an
stands over his
absentee
family. He
father
didn't tell his family about
decades.
stands, and he was an absentee father. You can't have 4 entries for the same point.
For decades, he was an absentee father.
Oh yeah, for decades, because Jolene is like 55.
Jolene is 19 years old.
For a decade. He was absent father for a decade.
He was an absent father for for millennia.
For almost decades.
For almost decades, even.
This is ridiculous.
That was awesome.
Also, I have something for you. I forgot what one of them was. Would you send me that? Would you link me that? I got to scroll back through it to find exactly what I wanted to pull up.
What, the list of
Yeah,
all the
send me
things
that
Jotaro
stupid
did
article.
wrong?
Because one of the things in
Okay.
there made me think of something, but I forgot what it was. But the other thing
Okay.
was, so that moment when Jotaro brings Joseph back to life. I think Merc and I talked about this a long time ago on the podcast, but like, he should totally have been a vampire, right?
100%.
100%.
Absolutely, Joseph should have been a
In
vampire.
fact, don't we explicitly see that, like, when you revive somebody with vampire blood, they become a vampire?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
exactly
Dio
what
does that at some point.
Dio does to Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice cuts his
Yeah.
own head off, and then Dio literally like slits his wrist and just pours Dio blood on him, and he comes back a vampire.
No, but you see, it's because the hormone in Joseph's body counteracted the vampire.
Oh, I don't want to hear about the Han in Joseph's body.
Well, I mean, that's actually
Love it.
the only explanation
The
that
only
really makes any sense.
The only plausible explanation. I just love Zach so passionately screaming he couldn't bring Josuke's grandfather back because he didn't have any Dio blood around.
He didn't! There were no Dios around, much less dead Dios whose blood was just up for fucking grabs.
There was nary a Dio in sight.
Nary a Dio to be found. Ridiculous. I forgot what the other thing I wanted to bring up was, but it was another thing in that same category, like old JoJo fan debate stuff that we've long since moved past. Oh, I remember what it was now. Yes. Okay, what is, in your estimation, and you're going to have to stop laughing for this because this is going to be sad.
Oh, sorry, there were no Dios.
What? Nary a Dio to be found.
Nary a Dio as far as the eye can see.
I looked left and I looked right and I saw no Dios.
Witness the fields upon which we grow our Dios, and see that they lay barren.
Bountiful Dio.
All right, so here's the dealio. This is what I was gonna say. Was what is, in your estimation, the saddest, not just death in JoJo, not saddest death, but saddest and/or best ghost talk moment? You know what I mean? When the golden ghost appears to like say goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about character deaths, because a character death that doesn't have one of these is not up for nomination in this category.
Okay, so for starters, we can rule out Joseph right away because that's cheating.
Okay,
Yeah. In
but
true Joseph fashion.
I would like to say that one's really good. And when you don't
It
know
is
that
really good.
Joseph is going to be alive in future parts, it hits, and
Yes.
he's like,
It's really
these 50 days were like a really great time, you know? And it's really sweet.
Yeah. If I have to give it to like a genuine non-Joseph ghost death, I think it's Foo Fighters for me.
Yes!
I
Yes.
think Foo Fighters has the best one. Just even just for the one line of "This is me. This is proof that I was alive."
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so good. And like you can bring me back, but it won't be the same Foo Fighters. This is Foo Fighters leaving.
I love everything about that scene, and I forgot how goddamn good it was until I saw it in the anime. I read it
The
in
anime
manga
was
years ago, and it was incredible. But then, like, everything about it, the way that Foo Fighters, like, just got away from Poochie, and now Weather's here, and we're all reunited, and then Weather is Poochie, destroys Foo Fighters and Anasui, just leaves them both bleeding dead on the ground.
Also, Foo Fighters insisting that Anasui save himself.
Right. No, other way around.
Other way around. Yeah.
But then the whole fight between Jolene and Poochie, and it's my favorite fight in the whole part. I like it better than the
absolutely.
fucking
Tough fight.
Sea Moon fight. I like it better than the fucking last battle. It's the best fight in the entire part because
The fight is amazing.
I love any time in a story a character gets like a chance to just have the final battle now, to just kill the end boss here, today, and be done with it. And it's always going to slip through their fingers, but it's always a really cool moment. Jolene fucking handcuffs herself to Poochie and is like, "It's you and me, motherfucker. One of us is going to die right now." It's so
It's
cool.
so good.
It's
Wow,
badass.
yeah.
And then the whole fight, and then Poochie is eventually like, I'm gonna lose. The only thing I can do is run away and distract her by destroying her father's memory disk. And he throws it into Anasui. And Anasui's blood slowly trickling towards Foo Fighters. And his little monologue, like, listen to Jolene. She's dying. Like, she's not dying, but she's, like, given up all hope. That's the voice of, like, grief and panic. You gotta do something. And then Foo Fighters chooses to save Anasui instead. Anasui, who had been calling her Plankton the whole time.
Yeah, who never acknowledged that they were a living thing at all.
And Anasui is like, I don't care if I die, just help Jolene, please. And he's giving his blood to Foo Fighters as just the last bit of liquid that they might need to revive themselves. But then he comes back and Foo Fighters is like, dude, this is sick. Don't you understand what this means? I'm dead. That means I was alive.
I was alive, therefore, yeah.
It's so cool.
The other one that actually kind of hits that same mark for me, I have two more that I really like that have always stuck out, is Abakio's is great. I love the way that Abakio's death is framed. He doesn't get a ghost. Like, these are my unofficial, because they're not the yellow ghost that shines down and says things. But I love the way that Abakio's is framed as him getting off on the bus and then meeting his old partner who has forgiven him and is proud of him.
Aww.
And Abakio just accepts his own fate, and he even says, like, a similar thing as Foo Fighters, you left behind something for them to move forward. And that's a really good one. And this one is pretty much done via the narrator of JoJo and Polnareff. But of course, Iggy's death is the line that the two in specific, one where Polnareff, the fool, is melting through his hands and he says, this feeling in the sand, it's just cold and completely devoid of life.
Aww.
And the narrator commenting that Vanilla Ice was wrong. He said that Iggy was just an animal and he couldn't have a proud soul. But the fact that Iggy had a stand and that it moved on its own to save a Polnareff was proof that he did have a soul. And it's like, oh, and in the anime, the JoJo narrator just puts his whole JoJussy into that line. There is so much passion and fervor in his voice, vim and vigor, even
Piss and vinegar.
Piss and vinegar. Oh my goodness, I love JoJo.
The
I want to give
Abakio
special
one.
mention.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
want to give a special mention to another fake out one, because it's the one where Rohan gets blown away by some dust, and his ghost appears over the ghost alley, but doesn't actually say anything. He just explodes.
Yeah. And Raimi sees it and is like, no! God, no!
Because it's the fucking rawest one.
Yeah.
Because not only did you die, your ghost
soul died.
exploded.
Your ghost died.
Yeah, fuck. I want to say something about the Abakio one and then reveal my favorite ghost moment. The Abakio one, especially in the anime, is really, really good. I'm just talking about the moment when he gets punched through the chest. I'm talking about the death, not the afterlife part.
Yeah.
In the anime, it's really, really good. It was that good in the manga too. But the way that they have him, like, he gets donutted and then he like slumps back onto that bench, you know?
Yeah.
And then he has this look in his eyes. His eyes still have color in them and they have like such anger, and he's like, you can almost see in his expression for a second that he's like, oh man, I'm gonna get back up and then he goes, "Pah!" and he coughs blood and you see the color drain. And so to me, it's always been like, that motherfucker, I'm about to get up and, oh no, I'm not.
Yeah, that split second where he's like, oh my god, I've still got it in me. Oh no.
Yeah, he's like full of anger. He's like, this guy got a sneak attack on me, but I'm gonna, oh no, wait, that's it.
Oh no, that's me done. That's old Abakio.
He's like pissed in that moment. He's so mad. And the anime does a really good job with that.
It really does, yeah. It perfectly in character for Abakio.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Oh,
God
man,
fucking damn it.
I hate getting killed. It's my least favorite thing.
Let my guard down for 2 fucking seconds.
Last time I ever helped children.
Anyway, so the fucking my favorite ghost moment is not obviously, sorry. I'm distracted. My favorite ghost moment. And this is a sleeper hit. This is like an incredible one that we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's the best. It is Gyro's ghost from Steel Ball Run.
It is objectively the best because he says nothing.
He doesn't say anything. He gives us no new information. He's like, Johnny, hey, psst, Johnny, do you remember my name?
I'm dying.
How
Johnny.
you promised to not tell anybody? Keep your promise. Okay, bye. Later, buddy.
Right, see you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, objectively, it is the best because, yeah, he's just like, I'm dead. If that's the way it is.
I have no last minute words of wisdom for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I taught you everything I know. Like, there's no more for me to give you.
Because he did. He gave him lesson 5, and he said, okay, pay close attention, Johnny. I'm only going to say this once.
Oh, that's so fucking sick. As he strides towards Valentine in the water. Lesson 5!
I love lesson 5. That is just one of my favorite pieces of, or favorite moments in any piece of media ever is lesson 5.
It's really fucking
It's
cool.
just so hype.
And also,
Yeah.
like, Gyro, the original protagonist of the part, like, the character we were introduced to first before Johnny.
And who was ostensibly just the main character for a while.
Yeah, like, our main character striding confidently towards the final villain and, like, almost going the distance before he gets murked anyway is so heartbreaking. But it truly moves Johnny into the protagonist role. It's like, this isn't a deuteragonist thing anymore. This is like, it was him all along. His Zappelli has died.
You've got to finish strong, Johnny.
Yeah. Anyway,
Don't forget to remember your promise.
don't remember to forget.
Don't ever forget to always remember.
Anyway, this fucking chapter, there's a
We have
bunch
a
of
lot
bullshit.
Finish.
Dragona is fixated on the fucking watch, and she's mad. They're putting it on top of a napkin that's got French fry grease on
Yeah,
it.
then it came to these schmucks instead of back to the gang immediately.
Birds are picking up the stuff, and it picks up the watch, and it starts to fly away into the sky, and Dragona is like so excited, and the bird is coming, and it's coming. Hey, that bird has it. The watch,
this
it's
is
back.
so terrifying. This
Look,
is so scary.
It's coming this way. Yay, my watch, the lava rock works. And then, yes, it's happening already. Wait, Dragona, something's not right. Don't touch the watch. She's wearing the watch. It's still on her wrist. And then this page.
It's so, like, actually feels like a return to the weird body horror of parts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I love it. This is like Dio putting the head on the dog.
Yeah.
Levels of stuff where he's got the birds on his body. Like, because what makes this visceral to me is that obviously it's rendered really well and really beautifully.
If you defocus your eyes, it kind of just looks like birds in the sky.
Yeah, and that, and the way that my mind's eye is picturing what this would look like, not even animated, but in real life, from the character's perspective, is, you know, those like really shitty old like iPhone videos where the screen will tear, reality is breaking and pixelating.
Oh my god, yeah. And then like
That's
the next scene will cut in, but it's the old
Yeah.
pixels and colors moving around on top of the new scene.
That's what I imagine this looks like, and that is so unbelievably scary to me.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
just like, oh my god, that would like send me into a sensory nightmare.
Is
This
this person,
ability is so cool.
is this person wearing a shirt also? Because it looks like they are bare chested in this sky photograph.
I am actually not sure, because they were able to like illusion Paco's clothes onto them, so I don't know if they're actually wearing clothes themselves.
Great question. Anyway, so this page is fucking amazing. And I love the first panel, like the smaller of the two, where you can see like the hand on top of the bird and the hand below that's morphing into the watch, and then you can see the knife sticking out below the hand.
Oh, it's so cool.
Now it's back to the stiletto style dagger. It doesn't get wider near the top.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing, like an Iraqi of the past with like maybe a stronger no man or an editor would be like, hey man, you've drawn the fucking knife completely inconsistent. But at this point, like, who cares? That's part of the charm, you know? And also, would JoJo really be improved by having consistent knife appearance? No, I don't think so.
No. Well, your perspective on the knife is well. That's not the point here.
That's not
this
the
man
fucking point.
This man turned into the sky.
JoJo is actually like an exercise in like, can you see the point? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who watch JoJo and they focus on the wrong shit and they miss the point.
That's how I feel about JoJo and how I feel to bring back One Piece.
I knew you were gonna say One Piece.
A lot of people miss the forest for the trees. They take it as like power scaling and blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, there's so much more. It's a story with world building and characters.
You gotta get the vibes.
Gotta get the vibes, dude.
I'd like to talk about tone for a bit, if we can. This scene here, where Dragona is like reaching for the watch and stabbed in the neck, is sort of shot like Narancia's death in part 5.
Oh.
But it's happening now.
In real time, yeah.
No, at the beginning of the story, you mean?
Yes.
And not at the end. I mean, it's like a sudden and horrible thing. I mean, this kind of reminds me of Josuke getting shot in the head by those rain bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just the way it's presented, no dialogue. I mean, there was dialogue right before he hopped out of the thing, but like the way that the page itself is silent.
And
Man.
this is earlier what I meant when I mentioned that, like, you know, he's doing some really weird tonal stuff with this chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But this next page is so fucking brutal. Grabs the lava rock, simply says, got it. And then, sunk.
Got it.
God fucking damn.
Oh, I didn't even catch the little speech bubble that he said, got it.
Got it.
That makes it even, like,
Right?
that makes it even more brutal.
Right?
Like, yeah, that's just mission accomplished.
And then the way that the watch is still on their face.
Yeah. Oh, and you want to talk about like the briefness of it? I'm just now processing on this reread just how fast, again, because like we control the pace, but in universe, how fast this must be happening. While he's coming out of his disguise, he hasn't landed on the table yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he grabs it, he's on the table. So he is jumping. He ran and jumped to do this, and then landed on the table as he stabbed Dragona and took the lava rock.
Insane.
So he did this in like a matter of seconds. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
And then he's just gone like that, and then disappears.
It just
And we get
completely
these really-
disappears back into dust.
And we just get these intense shots of all the characters just like silhouetted, or not silhouetted, but just like
On the black
dramatic
backgrounds.
lighting. Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
Like this is like an end game moment. It feels like, and they're all just
This feels like they killed off Dragona for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Which
think
is-
it's going to be a death fake out still, but it's done in a way with a lot of impact.
No, like
Sure.
like
But
but
if this is-
it's too early.
that's what I'm
But
saying. Like, if
I
this
honestly wouldn't be surprised if like Iraqi, you know, sort of broke custom to do with this.
I'm saying, like, if this is chapter 10, where do you even go from here? I'm almost more concerned, and this might sound crazy, I'm almost more concerned that none of the 4 are going to die. Instead, they're all just gonna kind of meet their own grisly fate, worse than death, like just maimed or disfigured, and they just kind of get like, they win, but at what cost?
A Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, and that's what
that's-
JoJo's whole monologue is about. Like, we never.
That's also
could've-
sort of what part 5 was, but like only towards the end.
only towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want to go back to what you were about to say about Jodio's monologue, where he says at the beginning it wouldn't have been enough no matter how many people we brought. And we thought that was talking about Rohan, but it's still the same mission. Like, they haven't gotten back with the diamond yet. He was talking about the whole mission.
The whole mission.
And like,
So
these guys are they've survived some crazy stuff so far, but like,
Yeah, you have to think about this. The only person who hasn't taken damage yet is Usagi.
yeah,
He's the only one that, other than like getting caught by Heaven's Door,
right.
but that doesn't really hurt you, it just immobilizes you. The three of them so far have already been attacked by the cats. They got strung up by the tree. They were Paco and Dragona were getting stitched together by the cats. Their ankles were getting torn.
Yeah, fuck.
Jodio's arms and wrists and his legs too while he was strung up. Like, this is insane for just the first 10 chapters.
That's
to
a
have
lot of
this.
damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Exactly.
So I am excited to see.
Let's
what
hope
progression-
Araki doesn't say, "How about a little more?" next chapter.
Yeah, no kidding. The Hustle Part 2, the hustling. We're gonna have to hustle in never before seen ways, Paco.
Every day I'm hustling.
Every day I'm hustling.
All
I
right.
hustle so you don't have to.
Next page. Dragona! And Jojo runs over immediately and does like the clasping hands, like, don't leave me thing.
God.
Because that's his big bro. That's his older sister, you know? That's his sibling.
big
That's his
bro.
comrade. That's
The big
Aniki.
sibling. That is Aniki. And then this shot of him summoning November Rain.
Yes, God, on the next
I-
page.
I love this shot so much.
You can
where
see the fury in November Rain.
just the intensity of the rain. Oh, absolutely.
Right, and also the way that, like, the lines are really scratchy. Like, it's a lot of small vertical lines instead of a straight line for everything except November Rain's face. It looks like it was summoned, like, foof, like, in a hurry. Like, it just showed the fuck up.
Yeah, and it did. There is no like in between. It is Jodio runs, gets on his knees for Dragona, and then November Rain is there, and it is raining, and it is towering of them.
So look at this. This is direct confirmation that it can only rain within November Rain's legs. Because look at this panel. Do you see how the
That's what
rain
I'm saying.
kind of
Yeah.
stops in that circle, but its other leg is way over there?
I love the way that shot is framed. It's so good.
So November Rain can stand pretty high up, but it can only create rain underneath its legs.
Within its own radius, yeah.
But also, like, it confirms that Jodio can exempt certain targets,
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
From
I
the
actually
impacts.
theorized about and knew that back in the drug lady chapter when he sold the drugs to that lady who claimed she wasn't a cop. Because I was like, look at how the rain drips onto her hands and is normal rain, and then when it
And then
drips
it
off of her hand
impacts the
onto
blood.
the baggie,
Yeah.
now it has the force of a bullet. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself a little credit for correctly noticing that in chapter 2, because that seems to be hard confirmed by what we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm. And then this just
But, like, you
ending
see-
sequence to close out the chapter.
But you like the whole group standing, or in Dragona's case, laying in the rain, but none of them are getting the impact. Whereas this guy's just getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. So he can exempt whatever he wants. He can make the rain only heavy damaging rain for the shit he actually needs to hurt. And so then this awesome shot where we hit the foot of this person, and then clearly they
Yeah.
have fallen down.
And then just Jodio in the background stanced up. You can practically see the dark determination flaring
The-
up in his eyes.
The focus shot of the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Looks
good.
really cool.
The fact that this is the hustle part 1 is still baffling to me because, okay, what is Paco going to do now? The chapter ends with Jodio setting
it feels
up.
like it feels like, honestly, like the next part should have been like called November Rain Part 1 or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
no kidding. But I guess this is Paco's fight.
the
Maybe because Jodio is going to stick back and tend to Dragona with Usagi.
the chapter titles for the
Yeah, the jump releases aren't the same as the volume titles end up
Yes.
being.
No, they're not.
and yes, and
Yes, and.
the chapters so far in the JOJOLands, the Ultra Jump titles. Chapter 1 was Mechanism. Chapter 2 was The Japanese Man on Hawaii Island. Chapter 3 is Find the Diamond in the Mansion. Chapter 4 is Versus Rohan Kishibe. Chapter 5 is November Rain. Chapter 6 is Jungle Warfare Part 1. Chapter 7 is Jungle Warfare Part 2. And Chapter 8 is Let's Go Look at Luxury Watches. Chapter 9 is The Owner of the Lava Rock and The Hustle Part 1. The Tankobon titles are always way more boring. They are.
Well, this is another interesting consequence of being a monthly reader as opposed to binging, because like when I was reading through JoJo the first time, I would see the volume titles, not the not the original Jump titles.
Gotcha.
So the Tankobon titles are always way more boring. It's like Departure, South King Street, The Villa on Hawaii Island Part 1, Part 2, Rise Up, Mount Hualalahai, Cat Size Part 1, 2, and 3. Like, I so much rather would have it be like Mechanism versus Real Hakushibe, Jungle Warfare.
Much more striking.
It's
I like
so
Jungle Warfare a lot.
I find that like but it's also easier to delineate like, you know, what like arcs, you know, because because like if you're reading through just like like a bunch of Jump cover chapters, you know, like say you want to know like where the Cat Size fight begins or where it ends, right?
Yeah.
But
it makes it more easily navigable. I will give you that.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
But man, what a fucking chapter. And then the last thing we're left with is Dragona is trying to use smooth operators to close that wound.
Which is another cool use of that stand to show some versatility. So we have two, honestly, probably 3 healers if you think about it. Couldn't you just ask the Mate Kudasai to make like stitches or
first aid kit?
Yeah,
but then when it despawns, do your stitches despawn?
That's what I was wondering. That's what I'm like.
Well,
what is the radius?
You don't need the stitches permanently anyway.
True.
I guess. But if he can only do one object at a time, you would have to have him keep using his stand for that for like weeks.
So I'm feeling like Jodio and Usagi are going to stay back and play support for Dragona, while Paco gets back in and finishes the fight.
I honestly think this is going to just be an absolute beatdown where now that we've got the rain on him and we've immobilized him, our characters are just going to go over there and kick the shit out of and interrogate this person.
Oh, I hope so.
This feels like actually the end of the fight almost.
Right, it feels like we got him. We got him cornered.
Yeah, I think he's going to have like one more trick up his sleeve in true JoJo fashion.
Because
the fight is probably ending that next chapter.
It seems like we just got his shoe. That like he was just outside of the radius except for his foot and shoe. But like Jodio can just walk himself in November Rain towards this fool and keep him immobilized using his heavy ass rain.
Which is why I would have thought that like Jodio would have been like the central character of the next chapter, and I'm confused about the chapter being called The Hustle Part 1.
Well, you know, I'm not sure. I think that The Hustle was a great title for this chapter, but we'll have to see until next month whether or not The Hustle Part 2 was a good title for the next chapter.
Yeah, I think the fact that the majority of this chapter was focused on the hustle makes sense. And then
yes, the hustle part does not confuse me.
Yeah.
The Part 1 part confuses me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We won't know if it was worth calling the next chapter Part 2 until we see it.
I was going to say, I can't imagine it going beyond the Hustle Part 2, but even then, does that really warrant...
this guy would have to have a lot of tricks up his sleeve for us to get into Part 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he would have to have a lot of illusions, a lot of sand shenanigans going on.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. What if he can throw the sand? Oh,
that's much good in the rain, is it?
What'd you say?
So, well, that's not going to do him much good in the rain, is it?
Well, maybe not.
It's not. Also, I just realized this because you said that, but rain power beats sand power every time. You know what I mean? Like rain, if you have a sand-based superpower, a rain-based superpower is going to beat it every time.
Every time, every day of the week.
You know, Spider-Man kills Sandman in Spider-Man 3 by drowning him. You know, water always beats sand.
Sand is weak to water. Everyone knows this.
I believe ground type in Pokemon is actually weak to water.
It sure is.
It is?
Yep.
Yay!
Ground and rock.
I mean, I knew rock for sure, but ground I was speculating.
So
That's
if you're a
erosion.
ground rock type, yeah, that's erosion.
You know
If
what's
you're a ground
interesting?
rock type, you get fucked.
Do you remember? This actually was in the Aeon Star video. He called Gappy and
A water
Jodio
type Pokemon.
both
yeah.
water type Pokemon.
Also, I'm looking at this last page, and you can already see the life leaving Dragona's eyes.
It's fucking horrifying.
Like, they are immediately just baggy and drained, and the eyes or the pupils are starting to become the cross hatches that he does
Yeah.
instead of fully colored. Oh my god. Where do we even go from here? I hope this guy gets, like... I hope we get a 7-page beatdown already. Chapter 11. And it's
Well-
like a 3-part beatdown, with each one tagging in Usagi.
If you think about it.
Totoro,
Okay, but
Jodio,
do you want to go? Do you want to go that way with it, or do you want to go the Anjiro Katagiri route?
Oh,
Fate worse than death.
yeah. What could they do to him?
That's a fate worse than death. With their skills. With their
Maybe the rain bullets can pummel him into the ground, and then he just is part of the ground now.
That probably in conjunction with the hustle. Maybe he can hustle him into a different shape. Like break his own muscles. Kind of like again, Diver Down turning a Feng Shui guy.
What
into
if he passes the hustle into him and causes his muscles to contract and break all of his bones?
Oh
Oh my
god.
God.
That would give us a Hustle Part 3. That would be quite a
That would
twist.
give us a hustle part 3. That would get us there.
I think it would.
Oh my god. Because unless the next chapter is just the hustle part 2 and we have to chase the guy down and then get him cornered again and then hustle part 3, I don't know.
Also, speaking of the 7-page beatdown, did you guys know that was originally 5 pages?
Really?
Yeah, in the weekly Shonen Jump release, there were 5 pages of Giorno beating the shit out of Chocolata. But then for the Tankobon release, 2 extra pages were added.
Or manifested.
He drew 2 more pages just for you.
Just for you.
Just for you. Just as a treat.
Just for the loyal Tankobon reader.
As DLC.
He literally pushed out a DLC update with 2 more pages of beatdown.
New patch dropped.
I was gonna say new patch
You
codes.
get you get 20% more beatdown,
20% more Chocolata beatdown.
or is that 40%? That's probably 40%, right?
Numbers.
That's how the
are-
math works out.
Math
think
isn't
that-
real.
Our team here of Jodio, Usagi, Paco, and Dragona are like Jodio has already tied up Rohan and interrogated him once before. I think that's kind of our team's MO. I think next chapter we're mostly going to be interrogating this guy.
I hope so.
Also, can you fucking imagine the reaction from whoever wants this lava rock so bad when they find out there were 2 and Jodio just broke one for no reason?
Yeah.
Like, these are the fucking corpse parts. Like, you just broke
A
one?
little bit. And well, according to the map in the last chapter, I believe, there might be an origin point of them. So maybe we get there at some point, and there's like fields of lava rocks.
Oh my
Right.
god, just like thousands of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get there, and Rohan's there, and he's like, what took you guys so long?
And he's
Just
like,
Just a
he's like
vast
eating them.
expanse.
Yeah, he's like just chowing down on them. He's like,
He's eating them.
He's
I
eating
need
them.
this for my research.
Isn't Rohan
Yeah,
already, like, impossibly wealthy?
Yeah, but he needs them.
He needs to
He
eat
needs
them.
them. He's eating them like Diego needed to eat rocks to help his tummy digest.
Gastroliths, yes.
Yeah.
Alright, well, does anybody have anything else to say about this chapter, or about the JoJoLands, or about anything?
Just my closing prediction, which is that this guy's stand is called the Grand Illusion.
Right
So I
Well-
reiterate that.
My prediction is that this guy is fucked. He
Well,
went,
yes, but we knew that.
I'm
He
still
went-
going with Poker Face, especially because now we know he, like, fights with a poker. He pokes you.
he does poke you, and he poked poked her, barely even know her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
He'd
missed,
give her
though. He poked her neck. He didn't poke her face.
He'd give her a poke if the telly was broke.
Oh. I
Whoa.
haven't heard that before.
I'm gonna still double down on Invisible Touch because I think that'd be funny. And yeah.
Basically, I don't think we'll know until the volume
Probably
until
not.
volume 3 drops.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this guy would randomly shout his stand name.
Yeah.
Well, he's been a man of few words for this whole chapter.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, the only thing he really says is got it.
Okay, so Jodio says November Rain out loud when he uses it.
Yeah.
Paco has called his thing the Mate Kudasai. Dragona says Smooth Operators. So we still are sort of operating in a universe where people... Christopher, no! Roboticisms galore.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry, I was trying to say that you meant Usagi. You said Paco when you were talking about the Mate Kudasai's user.
Yeah.
You saw it.
Whoops. Anyway, we're
And,
still operating in a universe where people do say
and
the
Heaven's
name of their
Door.
stand out loud when they
Yeah.
use it.
Rohan called out Heaven's Door.
I'm actually going back to check just to make sure. God damn, these are long chapters.
Yeah, they're big boys. They are substantial. We use every part of the chapter.
We use every part of the JoJo.
Every part of the... We
The
kind of
Jobado.
do. The Jobado.
The Jobodius.
We even go back and talk about that weren't even part of this part or the last.
We talk about things that weren't even part of this series. We
That's
use
fucking
every-
true. That's
We
literally
use
correct.
every part of the multiverse, the expanded universe.
The Omniverse.
The Omniverse. The Ben 10 Omniverse.
The Ben 10 Omniverse? I'm trying to see if he says Heaven's Door. No, he did not. Not
No.
here, at least.
I think he says it when he uses it on them in the house.
Yeah, I'm,
In the hallway.
Heaven's Door. He says it out loud.
Yerp.
Yup. Anyway, so everybody except the bad guys. And by the bad guys, I mean, so far, just a cat.
A cat and
cats-
a man.
The cats did not say their stand name out loud, but that's not their fault. So I think we're in a pretty good position to guess that we will learn this guy's stand name. Maybe even in the next chapter. Maybe we won't have to wait for the Tenkabon.
Maybe he said it off screen when he first disguised himself as Paco.
Okay, maybe anything happened on screen. How does that fucking help us?
Are they gonna add a page that shows him activating his stand?
There's going to be a 2-panel flashback to show how he disguised as Paco.
Go to the instant replay.
Yeah, we get an instant replay of the events leading up. He's like, that's what the Hustle chapter 2 or part 2 is just this guy thinking on his life choices that led him to this point, and then the Hustle part 3 is him getting beaten down and interrogated.
I want a full chapter of flashback about this guy's backstory and how he became a rock human disguising assassin man, just for us to get out of the flashback and for our characters to just kill him.
That would be very JoJolian of Araki to do.
Oh yeah. Well, let's not ask him to be doing anything overtly JoJolian. Come on now.
That's true.
I want to feel bad for this man when he dies.
I do. I want to feel really bad for this man who like stabbed our beloved characters in the throat.
I don't feel bad for this fool at all. I hope he gets his shit rocked.
I do too.
All right, I think that's our episode, isn't it?
That was multiple hours worth of content
That's 3 hours and 43 minutes.
for the fans.
Jesus Christ.
I know, it's insane.
Was born 3 days from now.
It's true.
What?
At least according to the
Jesus
Pope.
Christ. Yeah, no, I mean, he was born some other time, but they, like, moved his birthday to the 25th so they could steal the winter solstice from the pagans.
Yeah. See, Pope Julius I wanted to own the pagans with facts and logic.
Dude, he wrecked them. They got Shrek'd. Literally all anybody associates Christmas now is with Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, technically, everybody associates Christmas with commercialism.
I'm gonna say nobody celebrates Christmas because it's Jesus' birthday.
On that terrible disappointment.
But it's
it's
got
time to
Christ
end
in
our
the name.
program.
I'm saying they won. Like,
On that
their
heartening
plan
note-
worked.
Well, sure, but no one. I don't think Christmas and think, oh, happy birthday, Jesus.
I do every time. I'm always like, "Happy birthday, Jesus!" That reminds me of the joke by that one comedian who's been banished to the Shadow Realm, so we won't say his name. But he's like, my kids were asking me about religion, and I told them all religions are equally valid and equally right, but the Christians won, and everyone laughs. And he's like, I mean, like, they won, you know? Like, you can just tell. You don't think they won? Let me ask you something. What fucking year is it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't even realize that that's a Jesus thing, but it is.
It is a Jesus thing.
We've been permeated. The Lord is
I
penetrating all aspects of our culture.
I hope that the South Park movie is canon, where if you die and you go to hell, the devil will be there and he'll say, "Oh, no, sorry, the correct religion was Mormonism, actually."
Sorry,
And then
man. Sorry you guessed wrong.
Yeah. Ooh, yikes. Tough break.
Anyway,
Well then, on that note, happy birthday, Big Jeezy,
Hey,
Big
happy
Jesus.
birthday to the big J man upstairs.
2023.
2023, that was his year.
wow, that was really all of 2023, huh? We started this podcast fucking... Where's chapter 91 of JOJOLian?
2024 is
JOJOLian 91. JJL, chapter 91. Chapter Tiny 1. Dangerous
91.
Pursuit, Part 3. Also known as The Wonder of You, Part 8. Wow, it's got a boring monthly title and a boring Tenkamon title.
really was a dangerous pursuit. Maybe
Incredible.
the dangerous pursuit was the friends we made along the way. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, so
And
chapter
since we
91 or 92, I believe 92 is when we started doing the podcast. Because it starts off with the lecture, and then Holly shows up, or did we start the next one? Because I don't think we started in 2019. I think we started the beginning of 2020. Yeah, I wonder
at
what.
any rate,
I don't remember anymore.
happy 2023, Big Jeezy.
Wait. I want to know if the Locacacast is about to turn 3. I just want to know if we're reaching our 3rd anniversary. I gotta know.
Well, fucking figure it out quickly. We gotta end this show.
I know.
We gotta go-
I'm sorry.
We gotta go to Jesus' birthday party.
We gotta go to Jesus' birthday party. He's not gonna fucking let anyone in late.
No, he invited us and us alone.
Okay, the Locacacast. It was December 2019. So happy 4th birthday, the Locacacast.
Happy fourth
Happy
birthday.
4th birthday to the Locacacast.
Yeah,
And
that was
happy
4 years ago.
2023
Wow.
Third birthday, Jesus.
And since we won't see you until January of next year, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.